It's a night in with MauLer and the drinker, getting trashed with the web's free thinkers. A cheap night cause I'm feeling kinda thrifty, got a 10-pack of beers and a bottle of whiskey. Hop up the cork, have a glass of wine, I'll say, I'll be fine. Trouble walking in a straight line, but pour me a Pinot Noir. It's open bar with our hosts, MauLer and the critical drinker.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Open Bar number 17. Hello. We are here. I've got MauLer with me. Yay. Hello, sir.
Yay. Drinking.
Yeah, you're here. And unfortunately, we had grand plans for this evening, right? It was going to be an all-Brit panel, and we were going to have everybody that we could find in for this. And we've been beset by difficulties, sadly. Mr. H has got himself a bit of sunstroke because, in the UK, if the sun is out for more than 5 minutes, everyone just whips their tops off, immediately goes outside, gets drunk, and then succumbs to sunburn and heat stroke. So I think that's what's happened to him, sadly, which is not fantastic, but such is life. But we do have Disparu here, who's a newcomer to the stream. This is the first time he's been on an open bar, so welcome, sir.
Hello. Yeah, it's good to be on. I cunningly evade the British sun by just staying inside all the time and getting drunk that way, so it's a lot safer. We don't know how to handle... Yeah, we just don't know how to handle even the minor bit of summer that we have. If it's not raining, we don't know how to handle it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the best strategy, really. And as long as you can get drunk indoors, hey, no problem. So we welcome drunkenness on the stream this evening. So yeah, we've got the three of us, and wow, it's been quite a week, I suppose. I guess I would like to start the stream by just congratulating Johnny Depp for absolutely rinsing Amber Heard at court. It was a pleasure to watch, man. I've not been one of those people that's tuned into the court proceedings throughout. It's a lot of dry legal shit. I watched some of the meme compilations just because they were fantastic. But I did stop in for the verdict because when I knew it was going to get announced, it was pretty satisfying. I have to be honest. I'm not going to go too much into the politics of it, but it was nice to see a little bit of pushback once in a while.
That was the thing for me. I only watched it from the outside, so I saw the clips as well. But I kept hearing from people that, well, yes, everyone kind of knows that he should win, but from a legal perspective, he won't. So to hear the verdict was kind of great. Especially, I mean, I don't know if you've watched all the sort of I stepped on a bee videos. They were my favorite. Everybody knows what's happening. And if anything, it exposed how terrible an actor she really is. So, that's something.
There is definitely that, yeah. I mean, I guess I'm not comfortable with this idea that you should automatically believe any person when they claim they've been wronged. I would look for a little bit of proof, a little bit of evidence, something to back it up. I'm not just going to automatically believe you because you say it. And yeah, a lot of people like Johnny Depp have been fucked over the years and had their careers essentially ended by just a single accusation. So I like the fact that he just says, nah, that's not happening this time. I'm pushing back on this one, and I've got enough money and enough clout to actually take this to court and present the ridiculously damning evidence to back me up. So, man, power to him. I don't think he's going to get a penny of the money that he's won. She's
the charity
going to appeal it, or she's going to declare bankruptcy immediately. But I don't think he's going to get any of it.
Wish you could pull I can't remember who it was, but I think there was a rapper that got sued for that kind of money, so he declared bankruptcy immediately, and then started taking photographs with buckets of cash next to him, and he was spelling out cash in cash, and the judge dragged him back in and said, well, if you broke, where's all this money come from? Oh, it's a friend's, I don't have any.
There we go, she'll pledge it to him, just like she pledged to the charity. Yeah, man. It's, I mean, like I say, I don't think he's going to get much financial profit from this, but I think it's, what do they say so often in Disney and other companies? It's it's not really about the money, it's about sending a message. And that's probably a good message to send, that you're not going to get away with this shit anymore. So,
especially in that kind of business where, your name is everything. If people won't hire you because of your name, your career's over. So
Yeah.
clearing that is money in itself.
I think the sad thing though is like, you know, he missed out on Pirates 6. He missed out on Fantastic Beasts. I mean,
Yeah.
you could debate whether that's a good or a bad thing, really. I mean, those movies are fucking garbage, but it was a big payday essentially, and it would have, between those two films alone, it would have amounted to a lot more than the 10 million or whatever it is that he won. And
we
who
got
knows if his
the
career's going to recover? I don't know.
got the all women Pirates films to get excited for, right?
Yeah, I'm really excited, MauLer. I
Yeah.
can't wait.
I actually
Should
rewatched Pirates of the Caribbean last night. A friend of mine was like, "Please watch it with me," and I was like, "All right then." And yeah,
It's so good.
it's fucking great. It's a
Yeah.
great movie.
Really
Killer
fun.
soundtrack.
Yep. No, it's great. I mean, it's honestly, it would make a great EFAP movies. I think just to watch through. I think we'd have a ball with it.
Oh yeah, we'll probably do that at some point.
It should be the easiest victory in the world, though. Just a load of women dressed up as pirates in a movie. That should just pull everyone to the cinema. Same with female superheroes. They should be amazing. You have to try to make content like that awful, and they manage
I
it.
know.
every time.
They'll
You
find
just
a way.
need some corsets, man. You need some corsets, and away you go. But some heaving bosoms. But the porn version, as always, will be better than the actual version.
I think that was literally the first comment that I saw. The moment they announced it, it's like, it's already been made, mate. It's too late now.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it looked great just from the cover, you know. But yeah, who knows what will come of it? I mean, maybe he'll be unbanned from Hollywood now. Like he's proven his case. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. I think everyone's gonna want to see him and stuff, and there's got to be some companies that want to make use of that. Be like, hey, it's Johnny Depp's return.
Yeah. I didn't realize how old he was as well. Someone mentioned like in the coverage of the trial that he's 58 now.
Yeah, it always baffled me because I was like, man, he looked kind of like he does when I was a kid. And it's like, so something's wrong here. Like, how old are you?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel like he could just put on the Jack Sparrow costume right now and he'd be able to play him just as convincingly as he did like 15 years ago.
Because there's other people as well. Like Tom Cruise, when he's in a movie, looks just like he used to. But then you will get the odd photo of him out in the real world, and like, no, actually, you can see kind of your age there. So
yeah,
it is.
There was a weird one.
Just been a courtroom, and he looks normal.
Because he films a lot of his movies in the UK. Like I think he does a lot of his Mission Impossible stuff, like at Pinewood, and
yeah,
he pops up in random places, like outside Chippies and things, and like people get pictures of him there, and he just it looks so weird and out of place.
I don't know if you saw the story. There was a picture of him outside a curry house in Birmingham, and he looked so not like himself. There was an internet debate about whether it was actually him or like a stunt double or something. And it's like, no, it's just without all the movie magic and the makeup artists, that's how he looks.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, you know, he still looks good for his age regardless. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've watched the Top Gun movie, like the latest one that he's done, but
yes,
well, he looks pretty good in that. And I know it was probably filmed about 5 years ago because of all the delays, but yeah, he still looks pretty good for a man in his late 50s.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
like you say, again, magic of movies, I suppose.
He'll be an actor that switches overnight to a all white gray white hair. He'll do that thing. They always do that. It's like, I'm committing now. I'm at the next stage. Like I think James Gunn did it recently, didn't he?
He did,
from,
yeah.
like,
It was weird.
fully brown hair to fully white hair. Because the thing is, when they go to the salt and pepper time, they start dyeing it, and then once it's all done, they're like, well, time to switch.
I think so, yeah. I mean, I did notice when, you know, he had some close-up scenes in Maverick, like, his hair was, like, jet black, not a single grey anywhere. And it's like, yeah, okay, clearly there's a bit of dyeing going on there, you know?
Yeah, you can get, like, just grey hair, stray ones, when you're in your 20s. Like, they can come in.
Or you don't have to lecture me about that kind of thing, trust me.
Mine just go ginger. Like, I have no idea whether it's just like, especially in the beard, just random ginger hairs for no reason whatsoever.
That is the curse of... I don't even know what I could put it down to. Like, if you've got dark hair, there'll just be a few ginger hairs that show up in your beard for no reason. It's like, why are you here? I didn't invite you.
You are not welcome.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be a recessive
I'll
gene.
I'll
and they're
take
just
white
like,
hairs. Okay, fine, but fucking ginger. Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, I guess with the trial result, yeah, I think I'm pretty pleased for Johnny Depp. Like, if it goes some way towards clearing his name and like giving him another shot at like actually getting film roles again, fucking, I'm all for it. Like, that guy's been out of the game for too long.
Yeah, and I saw on the streams as well that the fact that she won one of her challenges as well, if anything, helped him because it proved that they weren't biased. Like, they were willing to judge each case on its merits, and rather than she came out and said, "Oh, it's so horrible, the mountain of evidence." Well, no, they trusted your mountain of evidence just only for one of your accusations.
Yeah. And the judgment against him wasn't really against Johnny Depp. It was against his lawyer, apparently, who had gone a bit over the line with, like, claims against her, which is fine. Like, I mean, again, it's not really a judgment against him then. It's just against his legal team. Not very much you can do about that. It's funny because, like, when the verdict came in, I was watching Rakita Law covering it, and he had 105,000 people watching it live. Like, that is bonkers. I imagine mods on his stream just like losing their minds trying to moderate that.
There comes a point where you just give up. Like, if you can't read the text, nobody else can. You just kind of gotta let it go. I think they said as well, what is it? Law and Crime was on about something like 3 million, which is just insanity.
Yeah,
live stream views.
That is crazy stuff, like crazy numbers. But hey ho, I mean, you know, if it's a big trial like that and you're a legal expert, I guess you can absolutely milk that shit. Go for it.
There was so many people. Wasn't it that Umbrella guy got sort of over 100,000 subs from it in just over the trial period? Like, but so many people had their channels just exploded from that kind of thing.
I wish I was a lawyer. Like,
I don't think he is a lawyer, though, is he? It's just like to see him mentioned in the trial itself. I can't even imagine what's that like. You're watching the trial of Johnny Depp, and then their lawyers start mentioning you. Is crazy.
Yeah. Nah, man. But hey, I mean, that's all the good stuff. That's pretty much it for good news as far as the stream goes. Because we've all been watching a little bit of Kenobi, and I fuck this show, man. You know? Okay, I'm just gonna leave now. I'm done.
That's usually how Obi-Wan felt, though. It's like, you've been given one mission for the rest of your life to protect the person that's supposed to save the universe from evil. And he's like, nah, I can't be bothered. I'm just going to sit in a cave, play emo music for the rest of my life.
Oh,
I can't even be bothered to
Mauler,
train.
you messaged me yesterday, and it was just like, this fucking show, dude. Jesus.
Yeah. It's funny, when the third recording gets out for the EFAP coverage, I get noticeably angrier in the third episode because I think I posted on the subreddit. I was like, okay, so first one, it was like fear. That was my main feeling about how everything was going to go. Second one, bit of anger, yeah, because of how stupid it got, the chase sequences, and then hate for the third episode, which means if any of you are Star Wars fans, suffering is right around the corner for episode 4, 5, and 6, I presume.
I think so, and I hate what they've done. I've come to the realization that Obi-Wan has absolutely no agency in his own show. He literally just goes where he's taken by other characters. Episode 3 was a perfect example.
10-year-olds are quite adept at figuring out plans. Like, they're known for this, I think. Most 10-year-olds just guide most adults around because they're kind of prodigies. And even while they're moving from A to B, you'll have these children explaining, like, you know, important realities about life, and it'll be inspirational to, like, some old fart like Kenobi, who, to be fair, what has he done in his life? Just sat under a rock, you know? So,
no, he's very much lived a sheltered life, and he has not really experienced the world, and he's not experienced adversity or had to make tough decisions. And thank God Leia is in this show to show him the correct way and help him out. And thank you that Diverse Resistance member is there also to help him out and save his life at a crucial moment and tell him exactly where he needs to go and shepherd him from place to place, because
he almost screwed that up
by himself.
Were either of you blown the fuck away when he was like, right, so we've been told to come here, no one's here, we were lied to? It's like, whoa.
Immediately.
He didn't
And she's
know.
like, I was on my way. You just couldn't be bothered to wait 5 seconds.
And
So
that's what I expected. Was
I know.
show
Did
him-
they say it? Did they give him a certain time he had to be there by?
no.
Well, even if that's a no, right? Their ship only landed and they walked over, so it's just like, yeah, just give him an hour. Give him an hour. Calm down. And I thought that's what the show would do. It would like montage. They'd have a conversation. It would pan around them, and then we'd see the truck go by, and they're like, you know what? Let's try that. But no, he's just like, not all people are good, Leia. It's like,
He screamed
the
it
hell?
at her. As the most overreaction I've seen to a normal comment.
what is wrong with him? Because like he's talking about how they lied to them. They got you out of that city planet on that ship safely. Like, yeah, this planet might not hold your salvation, but they didn't lie about that part, did they?
There's this episode was just a long cavalcade of fucking idiocy
Yep.
on Kenobi's part. Like the fact that he waits when they get stopped at the checkpoint, which is the most ridiculous thing ever because it's just a laser grid across the road. You could literally just walk around it and there's nothing to stop you.
You trigger their mistake was showing us the wide shot with the two big obvious gaps on each side. It's like, why would you do that?
Because like when he's killed everyone and he has to get through, he's like, oh, I don't know how to disarm this laser grid. He's like pressing the buttons and then he just shoots it to disable it. I'm like, oh, okay. The reason he's doing that is because he obviously wants to take the truck and drive it through.
Yeah.
But then he just starts walking through. I'm like, what are you doing? Why
It's
are
only a
you
planet.
becoming
Planets are
retarded?
small.
This episode was filled with like establishing something about power levels and fighting and then immediately subverting it. You have a stormtrooper that's high up on a tower looking at Kenobi. You have several stormtroopers around him with guns, and you have a probe droid in front of him which are capable of shooting you. It's like, these odds are against you, Kenobi. What are you going to do? And he just goes, no, I'll just shoot them all one by one and I'll win. It's like, oh, okay. Then 3 stormtroopers show up later and he immediately surrenders.
Oh, God,
Why?
I hate the fucking show.
There's a scene where they tell him to get down on the floor. They don't tell him to drop his weapon. So he gets down on the floor and he's holding his gun, pointed at them on the floor. I'm
that
like,
shit was
this is
crazy.
like basic
Any
safety,
moment.
guys. No one cares about their own safety at all. He gets out of the truck and everyone just... No one pats him down? What? No one tells him, have you got any weapons or anything? They're just standing there. This guy's probably armed, but,
Yeah,
as
here's
this droid
another
comes
question.
over...
Because, like, I know we're jumping around all over the place, but to
Yeah.
put this into context, fucking, I'm gonna have a cerebral hemorrhage trying to describe this.
Yep.
So they've been taken to this planet where they've been told in vague terms that someone will be there to meet them and help them out because Kenobi is there with Princess Leia. She's under threat. They're getting pursued by the Empire and the Inquisitors and stuff. Their contact doesn't show up. Kenobi immediately concludes that they have to get the fuck out of there, and so they hitch a ride. And wouldn't you know it, a bunch of stormtroopers get on board the big truck with them, and none of them recognize him, apparently, even though his picture has been circulated amongst all the assassins, the bounty hunters, the Imperial troops. Everyone knows exactly who they're looking for. They look right at him. They don't recognize who he is. Fuck this show.
And he
I
says the
think-
name Leia.
I hate this
Who's used
stupidity
as-
that
Oh,
now
dude,
pervades everything.
My head almost legitimately exploded when he said Leia. I think I made
Oh,
a really weird
Christ,
noise.
yeah.
I was losing my
And-
mind. I was like, how can they make Obi-Wan this stupid? That's so unfair.
It's
And
like
they-
they are going under assumed names, and so the stormtroopers start questioning them about who they are, and of course Leia fucking starts blabbing her mouth off, and Kenobi, without missing a beat, goes, "Now stop that, Leia," and then immediately goes, "Oh fuck, I've just snookered myself here,"
Yep.
and the stormtroopers are like, "What? He said Leia," and he has to try and bullshit his way out of this. He would never make that kind of mistake. He would never be that stupid.
Dude, it is like parody level. They're like, oh man, we're looking for like a Jedi, and Jedi usually wear robes and stuff, and Kenobi's like famous, and we've got a literal wanted poster equivalent of him, and he's walking around with some girl, and she's called Leia, because we would know that, because it's literally the daughter that's been kidnapped from Alderaan. They know all this. It's like, oh wow, we just bumped into a guy who looks just like a Jedi, and a little girl, and he called her Leia. It's probably nothing.
Yeah, nah, it'll be fine.
That's probably the win.
Fucking I hate it. It's the perfect example, right? Which I've said before. A character is only ever as smart as the person writing them. Draw your own conclusions from that, gentlemen.
And they even say on the actual thing itself, oh, we always catch these Jedi, though. It's like, what? Yeah, we always catch him eventually. You don't know what he looks like, you don't know what his name is, and you don't know who he's traveling with.
And they should
How
know
on
all
earth
of
do you
that.
expect to find anyone on a planet?
Oh, so embarrassing.
I hate this. This is the thing. Like, this would be a great time for him to do the whole Force mind trick thing. You know, they're not the people you're looking for. But he's mysteriously lost his Force powers because this is a thing which now happens in Disney Star Wars, where people just cut themselves off from the Force and now they can't do anything, even if they actually want to.
It's like a new game. He started at level 1, and now he's got to slowly train, going one at a time, shooting people with blasters before he gets his lightsaber out. Like, what was it, Cal Katarn? I think had to do it.
You know what he's done? He's deleted his save files. So now he's punted back to the beginning, and he just has to do it all again. That's all it is. Why? MauLer, help me out here, please. To explain how this is happening.
What specifically? The whole show? Or...
The fact that he's just forgot how to use the Force. The fact that he's now like become retarded. The fact that Princess Leia, who's a 10-year-old girl, has to like help him out and tell him where to go. Just everything. Why? Why is this show?
They want us to believe that he's really sad, and that's why he's lost Force powers. Doesn't really line up, even with TLJ's crazy rules of Luke shutting himself off from the Force, because that seemed to me like it was the deliberate choice he makes in that movie, mechanically. So I'm willing to give him a little more space in that. Kenobi needs these abilities. He spends, 2.5 episodes not using his 2 greatest tools to defend and protect the most important people in the universe to him. His lightsaber and the Force. Neither he uses. And it's just like, are they going to give us a reason why? This is something we were talking about. It was like, oh, clearly they're saving him igniting the lightsaber for like a really special moment. And one might say, well, he does it with Vader, right? And it's like, yeah, but did you see the way they do it? He's just like, oh, it's on now. You're like, oh,
yeah. I hate this. Like, the director of this show is an absolute... I don't even know. I don't think the word that I want to use I can use on YouTube, or I'll just get demonetized instantly. They are a person lacking somewhat in artistic skill. I'll say it that way. I don't want to jump to this bit yet, because there's a lot earlier on that I want to just cover first before we get to the true idiocy of this episode and the wasted opportunities. But before we even get to that, how can I even describe Kenobi as a character? He is sad now. He doesn't know how to use the Force anymore. He doesn't know what to do. He has to be helped. He has to be directed around by other people. He's a bit of a pathetic old man. What does that remind us of, gentlemen? I can think of a movie and a character within that movie that it definitely reminds me of. Why do they have to do this to all of these characters?
Isn't that great? It's like, you see, Han Solo, last we saw him, was still alive, and so we could just turn him into that. Luke was still alive. We could turn him into that. Obi-Wan is like, oh, he's dead. Fuck, what do we do? Is there any gaps in his history that we could use and turn him into it? It's like, yes, there is. Yes. And it's like, yes.
It doesn't even make sense, though. At the end of episode 3, he wasn't like this. He's like, oh, yeah, don't worry. I'll go off. I'll protect Luke. I'll train. So his entire life work now is to protect Luke. And that means you're going to have to fight Vader. If Vader came for Luke, you have to be able and in a condition to protect him. It doesn't matter how sad you are or what you're suffering with. You've got to put that aside and focus on your mission. And he can't be bothered because he's basically sitting in his own pit of self-pity in a cave somewhere and can't even be bothered to train.
No, Disparu, you're laboring under the misapprehension that Luke is important. He's not now.
No.
It's about Leia.
We got Leia now.
We literally have a character say that Leia is just as important as Luke, don't you know? It's like, no, she fucking isn't.
She's got a message she's got to carry.
I feel like they broke a cardinal rule for lightsaber duels between Jedi and Sith. One of them picks the other up with the Force, and they can't do anything. It's like, you can't do that, because if you do, it sets a rule that if you do that,
you can never not do it. Then if you can,
yeah, because it's always been a question for fans, like, why don't they do that in the middle of fights? And we just go, it's like they cancel each other out. You try to grab them with the Force, and they'll be able to counter that with their Force ability or something like that. But no, they just show it happen here, and it's like, oh well, man, this seems like the kind of thing you should have been doing a lot of in the day,
Yeah,
but they had to have their incredible payoff of, you burned me, so I'm gonna burn you now.
No more. Leave this for a little. We'll get to that. Don't worry, we will get to that. Who's protecting Luke right now? This is a very valid question. No one, because Luke isn't important. In the context of
Uncle Owen.
Kenobi, he's not important now. You don't have to worry
Uncle
about
Owen's
him.
playing toy ships with him. It's fine.
Yeah. Fuck this show.
They keep
Fuck
getting
it, and
layered.
every person associated with it, because I hate it. I hate everything that they're doing with it.
They keep
Someone
getting
said
layered.
Count Dooku did it to Obi-Wan. Yeah, and he shouldn't have. It's like he's breaking the cardinal rule. Every time you do that, it fucks with every other fucking Force user fight because they should be doing it at all times. The Force is underutilized as far as I'm concerned in a lot of these films, but if you stick to it, just like the hyperspace kamikaze, don't fucking do it.
I can totally buy into the idea that like a Jedi is hardened to that kind of thing. So like if someone tries to force choke them or whatever, like they've got the ability to just ward it off. So it's like they wouldn't even bother trying because it would be it would put you into a state of vulnerability in a lightsaber fight if you're trying to like concentrate on the Force and choke them out or whatever while fighting.
In the Star Wars games, that's how it's done. If you try and force push someone, and if they're not distracted and everything, they will just like put their arm up and kind of deflect it with the Force kind of thing. So you have to distract them or damage them in some way before you can use the Force on them.
Makes sense.
To make them not concentrate. Yeah, so that's the way I always assumed it was in the movies. And I think in this, their excuse is, well, you know, he can't use the Force anymore, so he's just beaten by a superior opponent.
Remember, I'm willing to defend the prequels on a lot of things, but they invented fucking Force Run, all right, which screwed up a lot of things. Okay, they screwed up. This, you know, the prequels are not innocent, and that's fine. But anyway, if we are waiting until we get to the bigger part, one thing I was gonna say was I did understand why the Inquisitors didn't know where Kenobi went, because he goes onto a transport ship that has a set location that it's going to. It's like public. Why wouldn't they be able to check like a manifesto? When he tells them, he's like, it's Transport 8, I think is what he says, and it's going to Mapuzo, or whatever the place is called, Mapuzo. So I was just like, oh, well, they're screwed then. Because she knows now. All she'll do is check the manifesto, they'll get their... Or manifest, sorry. And they'll get their... They'll probably get there before the transport ship does. Because I presume...
Just send a fucking Star Destroyer to intercept the transport.
Exactly, yeah. It's
on the way.
Over.
That's all you need.
She only narrows it down to it's a mining planet. That's like, well, it's one of 3 apparently because there's 3 probes they sent out.
I love that as well. One probe per planet. Like, do you have any idea how long it would take a fucking probe to fly over an entire planet and like survey the whole area?
No, Drigger's right where it needs to be.
Yeah, it really is. Like,
right when they established too, like, oh, we don't have many of them or something. I was saying,
don't make me get my gun out again. Honestly,
that was, by the way, that scene was weird when she was like, I demand you send out probe droids to find him, and then they're like, you're not in charge, and then she's like, actually I am. And I was just sitting like, why aren't you sending probe droids? Isn't that like the only thing you can do right now?
Yeah, it's not like it's some crazy gamble that they can't afford to do. It's like, you've got 1 million of these things, just send them everywhere.
I like how we've killed the Grand Inquisitor and we've got lame Inquisitor is just like, oh, I want to be in charge. That's like his whole role.
He even said, "That's my seat." It's like, well, we'll sit in it then.
Yeah.
If you want to put make your mark.
There's this briefest of moments where he exerts a little bit of like authority over her because he like force pushes her down towards the table or whatever, and she's like, just for a second or two, she's helpless, and then she immediately fires back like, "Well, I spoke to Vader, and he put me in charge, bitch. So you bow down to me," and then that's it. Like, he's done.
That'd be a really pathetic like leader in the Sith as well. If you have to rely on somebody else to protect you, you'd get slaughtered immediately by all of your underlings. So it kind of has to be the strongest or most Machiavellian person that leads any group.
But you talk about Machiavellian planning, right? This guy literally says to her, when this is over, I am going to kill you. Right? So why would you tell someone that? Like, someone who you might have to work with for like a short space of time at least, and who might even like have to watch you back at various moments. You really wouldn't tell them like, yeah, I'm basically going to kill you as soon as like this is over and the mission's complete and I'm in authority. Okay, that person then is clearly going to kill you first because they've got no reason not to. Why? Why is this show so stupid? Why is everyone so stupid in it?
I don't know why we spent... Go ahead.
That entire part was set up just so that they could do this, because they were really proud of this line. It was like, you will get what you deserve. And she's just like, I hope so. They thought that was so amazing. I genuinely think the scene's set up just for lines that they've thought of. It's like, well, how can we fit this into the plot?
Yeah.
Well, they did that in episode 1 where the guy was like, you take things too far. And then she like, the camera like, tightens up on her. She walks forward and she goes, you don't take things far enough. And it's like, whoa,
that's the equivalent of like, you're too bad. And like, she just goes, no, you're not bad enough.
You can just feel the writer is like, I'm so good. I'm such a good writer.
Like, after Bond kills someone, like, they come out with a one-liner.
They have been given like incredible characters to play out these ridiculous fantasies with as well. Like, they have been given Obi-Wan, they have been given Darth Vader, and this is what they do with them.
It's because they don't like those characters, though. They want to mess about with their favorite ones. That's why Leia's in. Well, why is Luke not in? Well, because they wanted to make Leia amazing. That's why she is. And the stupid thing, they get her to make the... She's supposed to be really smart and intelligent, and then makes the most stupid decisions, and then blames Obi-Wan for her bad decisions. She'll yeet herself off a roof, and then go, since I've been with you, I almost died falling off a roof. Yeah, that was your fault.
That was her
and then
fault.
in this one, she actually said, I didn't mean to run away. I didn't mean any... Yes, you did. You ran out there voluntarily of your own free... No one made you.
That scene you're talking about, that is about, I'd say, 10 seconds of her being in character as a 10-year-old who's been stolen from her family and her planet, where she actually says, like, I fucked up. I really shouldn't have ran. Like, I really want to get back to my parents. I was like, finally, they let her be a character instead of this bullshit where she's constantly being witty and insightful to everybody while annoying it and escaping mercenaries and a Jedi just by waddling around. I was just like, man, it's just, you get a glimpse of what a child would actually be saying in this circumstance.
It's like, imagine if she showed a bit of vulnerability because she is a 10-year-old child who wants to be reunited with her parents and she's scared. Like, that's something that would make you like her.
Imagine, Drinker, if the point here is that Kenobi is all like cowardly and stupid and whatever else you want to do, imagine pairing him with a kid who feels that exact same way through their circumstance, and Kenobi's got to convince her to get out of that shell, to be strong, and in so gives it to himself because it's an important thing. But no, he's gonna. I'm expecting, because we've got so little time. Episode 4 or 5, we're gonna be getting the showdown between him and Reva Reva's gonna tell him he fucked up. He completely fucked up in the prequels, and he needs to apologize. And he'll be like, "Yeah, sorry about that, but you should be nice." Then she'll be like, "Fine, I'll rescue Luke for you."
Yeah, we mocked this right before this show even came out. We talked about this, and we said this is going to culminate in Reva having either Obi-Wan or Luke at her mercy. She'll have beaten everyone, and she's got the opportunity to win everything, and she'll then have her change of heart and be like, no, I can't do this. I have to turn to the light side, and she'll protect Luke. And essentially what they're doing then is saying, like, everything that happened in the Star Wars OT is because of this one diverse female space Jesus who's just like Michael Burnham from Star Trek. That's what they're setting her up as. I guarantee it. That's why they've come out so fucking hard to defend this character and this actress, because they know exactly what they're going to do with her.
Yeah, and
it's going to be likely to end all retcons. I guarantee you.
They very likely already killed her as well, like, as writers. They've probably, because they need her story to end well before it gets to the OT. So she probably martyrs, right, in some way, shape, or form, which is kind of awkward with how much they're desperately defending her. Because they're gonna be, because like they will be the ones who kill her. This will be her, and then they'll make a prequel show or some shit.
They need you to love her, like, by the end of it, and they know
the Wanda problem again. I don't care if she protects Luke by the end of this show. Look at the horrible shit she's done. And what's her reason? Because she hates Kenobi for abandoning the kids in the temple or some bullshit like that.
Oh, that's what got me about the start. She came out and said, "Oh, it's so amazing to be in Star Wars. Now I can be someone that young girls look up to as a role model." But I'm like, you're evil. Have you seen what you're doing? How are you supposed to be a role model?
Yeah, we shouldn't be looking up to you. You're horrible.
It was incredible. It's like, this is the person that I want everyone to be.
But no, I mean, do you want me to spoil the ending for you? Based on the leaks that I've heard?
Oh, have we not talked about him before? I've talked about him on Real BBC. I can't remember if we've talked about him here.
I mean, I'm going off what I've seen on other channels, but yeah, like the the breakdown that I've heard is that she actually does have the chance to kill Luke, but she doesn't do it. She reports back to Lord Vader that he's dead, and then Vader basically kills her with the Force.
Yeah.
And that is the end of her character.
And part of those leaks, though, is they said that the reason he doesn't believe it is because Obi-Wan beat him. So there's supposed to be like another fight where Obi-Wan's actually amazing. I'm like, I don't see how that's going to happen because he was so pathetic.
Yeah.
And the only I really I wouldn't be surprised if this happens. But if like something happens and Leia's like, no, I believe in you, Obi-Wan, you can do this, and then he just CW like levels up in the middle of a fight and suddenly beats Vader.
Well, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it by himself. Like he is not going to discover his own strength, even though he shouldn't have lost it in the first place because he fucking killed Anakin, or he defeated Anakin when he was at the height of his powers. Now he's just some fucking like burned corpse inside a suit. Like he shouldn't be any kind of threat to Obi-Wan. He should easily be able to take him on. But now he's terrified of him, and he doesn't have the Force anymore, and he's a pathetic old man.
Are we allowed to talk about that scene now?
Fuck it, let's just do it.
Like chomping at the bit.
Well, let's just go into it. Let's just go.
I'd almost want to show you the clip. It's so funny. When he first turns up, we at EFAB were like, oh God, here it is. This is the part we've been warning about for 2 years. What's going to happen? Vader and Obi-Wan, they've met up. And then Obi-Wan just goes, and runs away.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
No, that's the fight, though. It's scene after scene of like Obi-Wan sees Vader, then he runs away, runs like 100 yards, and then they have another little confrontation, and then he runs another 100 yards, and it's always in just some fucking like generic sandy landscape. There's nothing interesting going on. It's the biggest waste.
He runs like Leia as well.
Two characters you could ever expect.
Dude, it was the funniest shit. Like, it's seriously filmed like it's supposed to be funny. He crosses path, he goes past like a little mound of whatever. Vader's just standing there like, what the fuck, bro? And then it just cuts to Kenobi walking. He's like, well, there we go. Like, I went around the corner, that deals with Vader.
Here's the thing, right? If you're fighting someone in the dark, like it's nighttime, and you want to remain hidden because you're going to try and sneak away, I'm going to tell you something that you shouldn't do. You shouldn't ignite a giant fucking lightsaber that's going to give away your position to anyone within 10 miles of you. That's exactly what he does. It's so dumb. If you don't want to fight, don't fire up the lightsaber.
It nailed the comedic timing, though, because not only did he like look around and then sort of run off the first time, but when he pulls his lightsaber, like, this is going to be a fight, he's just like, nope, and just yeets himself off from the corner again. I thought there's no way he's going to do it twice. Vader's right there. It's like, no, I don't care. I'm off.
I would argue it's partially like a cardinal cinematic rule for Vader. You know, like how a lot of people love the hallway scene in Rogue One. They're all trapped in there with him. The door's locked, and they still hold their ground as best they can. They shoot at him as best they can. Like, when you are about to fight someone like Vader, you're like, he's a bit slow because he's a robot or a cyborg anyway. You shouldn't just like having someone just run away. It's just like, it's like having people run away from like any kind of slow, like the Rancor. You're like, oh, you're about to battle, and you just run away. And it's like, well, yeah, I guess you could do that. But like nobody wants to see that. Why would you show us that?
It's like, yeah, why set it in this giant open landscape where there's just nothing interesting in any direction? Like when Luke fought Vader in Empire Strikes Back, like they were in a confined space. There was kind of like there was lots of machinery. There was things you could like fight around. Like they were in like kind of confined corridors and all that sort of thing. There was just stuff around them. It was an interesting environment to fight in. Same in the throne room fight. Like it was fought over different levels, and there was like big like pits that they could fall into. There was just stuff in the environment that they could use to their advantage a little bit. Here, they're literally just in a big sandy expanse of nothing. It's like the most anticlimactic place to fight anyone. There's just nothing that you can even use to make this involving.
It's the rule of cheap sci-fi. You just set it in a quarry. That's all it was.
I mean, it is. Yeah, that's what they did for fucking Crisis Infinite Earth. It was in a quarry. They do stuff in quarries all the time when they don't have any money. But I guess it looks like a fantasy world. I don't know. So, as some people are, wondering in chat, because a lot of people aren't watching this shit. I'm not kidding. Obi-Wan runs away from Vader in fear 3 times. Like there are three big significant moments where Vader's near him and Obi-Wan just goes and runs away, and it's hard to watch. Let's put it that way.
I hate what they've done with all of this. If you're going to have a confrontation like this should have been saved for the final episode. Just keep them apart. Like Vader's like hunting him, or he's just a force in the background that's directing Reva. Okay, fine. And then in the final episode, that's when they actually come to blows. If you have to do it, I wouldn't do it in the first place. But if you really have to, and it should be suitably epic, because this is the first time they've met each other since Anakin was turned into Vader properly.
Yes,
it should be epic. It should be fitting. It should be climactic. And there's nothing. It's just Obi-Wan running away from him.
Let's be honest, right? Because a lot of us Star Wars fans here, I mean, of the OT, and let's just be completely fair. There is a thing we're not allowed to do, and that is to have them do stuff between the prequels and the OT. That was kind of like you're not allowed to do that, because George says, no, nothing happened there. And you're like, okay, but if we break that rule, if we go, fuck it, we will have something, that is a Star Wars wet dream for fans, to have Obi-Wan and Vader share more scenes, have more dialogue, and discuss in any way, shape, or form the events of the prequels. Even the prequels have moments where people are like, oh, could you imagine if they said this to each other or this to each other? Didn't have the high ground. He could have ran up one of those little mountains.
Without the high ground, he is nothing.
Hey, Vader lifted him up to the high ground. I don't know what you mean. It's the kind of thing, because I want to talk a bit about their dialogue, all right? And I'm assuming you guys noticed the same thing. This is a chance in a lifetime to write the dialogue between these two.
Yes.
What are they going to say to each other? And when I heard Vader say, "You should have killed me when you had the chance," I was like, that is the most generic fucking thing you could have him say.
That is on par with like, we're not so different, you and I.
So fucking boring. And we were speculating for a while in our coverage, like what kind of dialogue can you have? And we were just like, 10 minutes of thinking about it. And it was like, why not have Vader talk about how he's been hunting him, how they've gone well past the regular and more standard regions, the Outer Rim. They've gone to temples, sanctuaries, all different kinds of places. And he just talks about all the fucking Jedi he's slain, all the different people that were allied with this cult, and all of them screaming because they knew you abandoned them, that sort of thing. Like talking to Obi-Wan about how all these people died knowing that you left them, that the Jedi Order failed them, and that, I bet, like, it's just stuff like, I know you wish you were dead, but, and you know what? Top it all off with, your master would be fucking ashamed of you. Like, just stuff like that. Because Vader would know what would get to Obi-Wan. Instead, we just get, like, generic lines that could be spoken literally by any villain ever.
There's so much... Yeah, there's so much potential there. And... yeah, you kind of think if that scene had been given to any of us, we would have like spent weeks agonizing over every sentence of what these characters said, because it's like this is the most epic of epic confrontations. We have got to do this justice. And yeah, like you say, what you end up with is just the most bland, boring, generic dialogue that you could get in a scene like this. What have you become? I've become what you made me. That's all you got.
Yeah, it's just like, yep, that's the line you write when you don't know what else to do, because you don't even know who these people are. He's like, I don't know, the bad guy. He was the person who wrote that line probably watched the Mustafar fight scene and was like, I'm bored. Okay, so yeah, like you burned him. That's maybe. Like, I find it incredibly fucking uninspired what Vader does to Obi-Wan in this scene. We're essentially there, right? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, he makes a bunch of fire on the ground and he kind of drags Obi-Wan over it.
Drink it.
You're gonna burn because I burned, so you're gonna feel the pain.
I've seen people adoring that. They're like, that's such an amazing payoff because it's what he did to him. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? First of all, fire doesn't work this way, where you put your whole body on fire, an active fire, and you just go, ooh, cheese, ouch. Ooh.
Only your left arm burns.
Pieces of his clothing had little holes in it. It's like, you're in fire. You guys have no idea how this works.
His trousers were fine. It was like I've fallen over on a hill and torn my jeans more than that. It was ridiculous. And then I don't understand, right? The fire gets put out and he's lying on the floor and he's like, go fetch him. So then she reignites the fuel. It's the same fuel as far as I'm aware. And suddenly Obi-Wan isn't in the fire anymore. He's like miles away. This entire thing, it's like logistics don't work. People aren't in the same places they were 5 seconds ago. Fuel teleports.
I can-
Leia can
I
spin
was-
faster
I
than
was
anyone
gonna
else on
say
Earth.
this as well. Like Mauler, you probably know the lore of Star Wars and Vader's suit and stuff better than I do. But I was under the impression that it's armored for a reason, and so theoretically he could just walk through that fire if he needed to get to Obi-Wan.
I can
Because, like,
look, I can answer your question and I can explain Disparu's thing there. So if you watch it, he uses force push to undo the fire and push Kenobi away. Now, why does he do that? I don't know. Probably to set up how logistically things move forward. However, by doing that, that means he can undo the fire with the force. He can just go woof, and the fire's gone. Why doesn't he do that when the fire comes back up?
I think they're going to say...
it's not convenient to the plot.
I think they're going to say that he realizes Kenobi's weak, and so he's sending him away to give him time to become like a challenge for him or something. Then he can really beat him.
Not going to work. The stormtroopers are all shooting at him when the robot picks him up. So if Vader truly believed, like, I need him to leave for a while to get better, he'd be like, stop firing. But nope, he lets it. I was prepared for this, okay? I've seen all
I'm thinking of their excuses. They're not my excuses.
No, of course. Because I know what you mean. Loads of people are defending this as best they can. The excuses are pathetic. Like, this is so badly put together. It, like, baffled me. When she shoots the one stormtrooper, and they all, like, look up exactly where she is, and she manages to get a second shot off without any of them going toward her or fighting her, I was just like, does nobody care about anything anymore? How anything works? How did she get out of there? Why can't they walk around the fire? Why can't Vader pick Kenobi back up? Why did Vader say, bring him to me, if he's so convinced he should leave because he's weak? None of this makes any fucking sense.
You know, the baffling bit of dialogue as well from the Inquisitors afterwards, where they say, like, oh, he escaped from that fight. We'll never find him now. But like, what? You found him on this exact planet like 5 minutes ago. How do you think you're not going to find him again?
He says they lost him. It's like, no, they didn't. He was very slowly being moved away by a loader robot. It was right there.
Like, call in every available force. Call in the fucking entire Imperial fleet just to blockade the planet and stop anyone escaping. Like, you could absolutely get this guy if you really wanted to.
Presumably, they've got a ship in orbit. They could just fly it there and watch them run across the open desert. It's like...
There's such like the editing and logistic issues are absolutely painful. You have all of our characters are connected. There's a tunnel that leads to a ship that gets them off planet. You're like, oh, and Vader's behind them. If they were to go down that tunnel, they're moving away from him. So in our heads, with how we understand the stakes, we're like, okay, so our heroes are going to make it, right? And then Obi-Wan's like, no, I'll stay behind. And you're like, okay, you have Luke to look after, but that doesn't matter, I guess, because you got to have your showdown. And then you'll have all these stormtroopers, Vader, meters away, an injured and possibly unconscious Obi-Wan being carried by something that moves at 1 mile per hour, and they tell us, don't worry, they made it.
Yeah, this was the laser you could see, and then it wasn't just one stormtrooper. All the stormtroopers are like, and then Vader's just looking around as well. I had no idea where that sniper shot came from. It's a laser, not a bullet. You can see it.
Yeah, you can see exactly where it came from. They would have seen it. We saw it. Like, what is...
You're right. Now, here's a great point, actually. So the dialogue from A New Hope, like, when we last met, I was merely the learner. Now I'm the master. He's already got Kenobi on the run here, so now that doesn't line up at all.
Unless, by episode 5 or 6, Kenobi absolutely thrashes him, but I don't know why that would happen.
Well, Leia's going to tell him is amazing, and she believes in him.
Or
I'm sure that's going to
beat her in the balls.
Thrash him.
Yeah, she'll kick.
Or that, like, or the diverse resistance lady.
Oh.
Did you guys love the line where she's like, "Teach me how to shoot," and she's like, "Oh, I can't do that, but you'll be a great fighter someday." And then Obi-Wan just goes, "Yes, she will be," or something like this. It's like,
yeah, because she expressed the tiniest bit of interest in, like, shooting a laser blaster. That definitely makes you a great fighter one day.
I mean, I get to a point with these series where I'm like, it's bad enough. Just do whatever you can, destroy it as much as possible. I just want to laugh at this stuff now. So at this point, I'm just like, Leia can fight Vader, and she can do a Yoda scene where she's like flying all over the room and stuff with the Force. If you're gonna go, at least make it funny, right? Just go as far as you can. If you're gonna make it a parody.
Hey, I've got the doggo here on standby. Lara, are you alive? There you go. Yeah, she's a greyhound. She doesn't do an awful lot, but anyway, she makes for a good background dressing. Yeah, I hate everything that they've done to both of these characters here. Everyone's become idiotic. None of the fight makes sense. You'd think if like you had characters of this magnitude, there would be serious quality control over it. But there isn't. Or maybe this is the intention. The intention is just to break Kenobi down as a character and make you realize, he wasn't that special after all. Just like with Luke. He wasn't that good. He needs to be supplanted by someone better.
I think they're definitely trying to humiliate him, and this episode more than any other made that obvious. There's even a point where he's just holding his lightsaber and Darth Vader just taps it, and it almost cuts his arm off.
Yeah.
I'm amazed there wasn't a big, massive scorch, because he even like screams in pain, but there's no mark there. It's weird.
The way the choreography and the shots like for their fight is hideous. I don't know how else to say it.
There's some of their hands.
It's basic.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I was to try and rationalize it, I would say they're going for some halfway house between the really like technical and spectacular fight that they had in episode 3 versus the really like clumsy, two old men dueling each other in A New Hope. But I think I'm giving them too much credit there. I just think that they didn't have enough imagination to give them good fight choreography.
We've got all over the place.
11,000 people watching us live right now. That's pretty good. We've got 11,000 people watching us live.
Oh,
wow.
Hello.
Which is nice. Hello, 11,000 of you.
Is it because everyone's getting angry at this show? I hope so.
I think it is. I honestly think it is.
That's what I love about these things. It was like the premiere gets so many viewers. It's like, I'm not so bothered about the premiere. It's how many people stay around after they've watched up till now, and then by the end, and come back for season 2. I want to know the season 2 premieres numbers because I don't think.
Shit, man. This is. I'm watching this because I know I'm going to review it at some point, and it's just like a train wreck, really. I can't take my eyes off it, and to see what they're doing to characters that were one of the few untouched characters that were left. It's like, they hadn't really fucked up Vader and they hadn't really fucked up Obi-Wan yet because they hadn't touched them, Disney. And now they have. They've got their claws into them. And this is what we've got.
Well, it's kind of... the more this happens, the more I'm like, how the hell did Vader make it through Rogue One without getting ruined? Like, I'm almost like, how did Disney have their name attached to Rogue One? I don't even know anymore. Because Rogue One, for all of its flaws, it's not this.
I mean, the only thing that keeps me invested in this is I just want to see Hayden Christensen get a chance to do something to redeem himself a little bit. I don't think he will, but it'd be at least nice to see him do something.
I thought it would have been nice if they committed like a whole episode to the Clone Wars, and with a bit of de-aging, we had Anakin and Obi-Wan give us some time, some adventure they go on, and tell us a lot about their relationship. That was the chance they had, and it looks like we're not even going to be doing that at this point.
No, because Leia wasn't around then. This show is designed to make you think that Leia's better than Luke. That's to humiliate Obi-Wan and make Leia amazing. That's really what it's for. I think that's why they're focusing on Reva. They talk about Reva so much. She's not the worst thing by the episode by a mile. There's so much worse stuff. That's why I think they're attracting attention. Oh, look, everyone's complaining about Reva. No, I'm complaining about everything else as well.
I mean, I think with Reva, I think it's because you know what they're planning. They're planning a swerve where she redeems herself, and now you're supposed to like her. And I'm like, I can't, having seen what she's done and what kind of person she is, I can't really imagine how you can then redeem that character and make her likable.
We talked about this before Doctor Strange 2 came out because, well, I don't know if we talked about it, but I definitely talked about it with some people because of the leaks. We knew that she was the villain. We knew she was going to kill people throughout that film, and that she was supposed to be maybe not redeemed, but considered a person who did the right thing at the end. It's just like, I ain't gonna work. Like, that's not gonna work, and it's not gonna work here either. Because when she's, I can't believe she. Let's talk about Reva, shall we? Let's go
Let's just go into it, yeah.
Because I think it was Gary I was talking to when I saw episode 3. I was like, that was fucking terrible. Everybody's an idiot, and obviously I'm mainly talking about Obi-Wan and Vader. And then and he was like, yeah, and I was like, well, except Reva, I suppose. She's the only person who gets to like critically think and make use of different. They're not very complicated thoughts, but the fact that she thinks puts her above every other character, and it's actually really
benchmark.
frustrating.
It's like she thinks, she exercises a tiny bit of logic. That makes her better than everyone else in this show.
It's like, out of all the stormtroopers and inquisitors that are searching through this village to find the secret tunnel, who's going to find it? It's like Reva, because she's better than all of them. And it's like, okay, fine. And well, what's she going to do? She's well behind Leia and the girl who was helping him out. She's a good 20 minutes at least. There's no way she's catching up. It's like, no, she'll be ahead of them. Like, what? How is that even possible?
Yeah,
And
don't think about it. Just consume.
That tunnel, there is a shot down that tunnel, and it definitely looks like there's multiple paths, because there's something that goes left. And it would explain how when whatever her name is goes back to save Obi-Wan, she doesn't run into Reva or anything, and can get past the stormtroopers if there's multiple exits. But somehow she knows not only where it exits, but all the multiple exits, and she's done something that nobody else has ever managed. She can run faster than Leia, which I thought was physically impossible. Like, no one can catch Leia.
No, that was the trick to catching Leia. You don't grab her, you run past her, because Leia can only run forward and she'll eventually hit you then. That's the key. But yeah, you're right. We were talking about this, and it was like the fact that she got ahead of them and didn't bump into the girl, like, I'm going to be generous to the show and say there must be multiple entrances and exits. That's okay, fine, we'll go with that. And it's like, but the problem is that creates the issue of how did Reva know which exit to go to? And how did she get there so fast? Did she fly with her lightsaber? They can do that in Rebels. I would like to see that scene, please.
Well, they kind of showed you. They had him spinning his lightsaber, and the other guy was being pulled towards it. So it seems it doesn't just fly. They can reverse it as well. It's like an inverse fan.
I think what they're doing with Reva, right? And you can see them laying down the foundations of this, like from the very first episode, where, you know, she's getting shit from the other Inquisitors. Like the Grand Inquisitor says to her that, you know, however high you may rise, we're never going to forget what you came from. And so you're always going to be the least of us. And so they're just laying those foundations of like you sympathizing with her because she comes from a humble background, whatever that might be. Like you'll find it.
Jedi, right? I think that's the point.
And so it's like she is the underdog amongst the Inquisitors, but she still rises to prominence as the bestest Inquisitor ever. And we'll just overlook the fact that she randomly cuts off people's hands and stuff. Like that's fine. We've all done it, you know?
Yeah. Oh God. Because to be fair, I don't know enough about Rebels to know what he's referring to. If the answer's in there, I thought it was that she was, because she's one of the kids in the opening, right?
That's she must be. Yeah. The ages will probably line up, I guess.
And so, they're probably shitting on her for that. I don't know. But yeah, you're right. When she eventually redeems herself by the end, I'm just going to be thinking about that poor lady she cut the hand off for no fucking reason at all. Yeah. She's the one that suggests torturing people. Oh, you know what? I just distracted myself with something else. This might be my take that you guys don't agree with. We'll see. When Vader was introduced, I actually got pretty pissed off that he just broke someone's neck. Do you have any feelings about
that? For no reason.
About that. Well, no, like, there was a bit where Obi-Wan...
He's like a goal-oriented guy. Like, if you get in his way, fine, he'll kill you. Or if you are serving under him and you disappoint him, like, yeah, again, he'll probably just kill you as a warning to everyone else. Like, fuck up, this is what happens. You wouldn't just kill random civilians who didn't pose a threat to him.
So, no, he was walking down the road and Obi-Wan, like, twitched, and then Darth Vader looked around as well. And I thought that was the bit where he realized he was near him. And so, because then he starts, like, choking people and breaking people's necks. I thought to draw Obi-Wan out, thinking, well, he's definitely going to defend these people. He was wrong about that. Obi-Wan's a coward and he won't come out into the street. Yeah, so I thought that was his plan.
That's pretty much all the foundation I was looking for, yeah, because that is true. All of that is true. And it fucks with Kenobi's character, unfortunately, but we'll ignore that for 1 second. Vader pulling someone out and just doing, you know, assorted force stuff, I was okay with that, especially if they scream, because that's what he wants them to do. Just someone coming out of the door to try and help their family member, and he just pushes them down and breaks their neck. I was like, oh, that's not, like, that to me, Vader is kind of to blame for why villains got really shit for a while, in terms of people watched him in Empire and were like, so bad guys kill their own men, bad guys kill people randomly, and it's like, watch him in Empire. There's a reason behind all the shit that he does. And I'm more than willing to agree that if he makes people scream while like strangling or torturing, whatever, to draw Obi-Wan out, I'm cool with that. But just breaking someone's neck casually, it's just like, oh well, that's done now. So that like it doesn't match up to me at all. I don't think that's strategic. And it almost seemed like he was annoyed with the person.
I think what you would want to do is reinforce that with a little bit of dialogue or something like, Kenobi, I know you're out there. Like, I'm just going to keep torturing people until you come out to help them, or something like that. You know, just to give the audience a little bit of a prompt, maybe.
I think Vader blows up planets. He is evil. That doesn't counter anything I just said. All right, pay attention. He blows up the planet for a fucking reason, and he doesn't do it. To be fair,
I think they were trying to do the show not tell bit there, but to me, I took it like. If you're raiding a bank and you've got a load of hostages, you shoot the first hostage to show that you will do it and you're not to be messed with. That's how I took it. And so, yeah, he can... Because I don't think he expected Obi-Wan to just stare at him through a window. I don't think anyone expected that. So, he was acting a thing that, I will do this, that reinforcing how evil he is, and then he could... Like, there's plenty of other people in the city. So, it's not like he was lacking for people to draw Obi-Wan out with.
I'm very protective over people like just turning Vader into, like what Kylo Ren is in the sequels, where that guy is like, hey, the Emperor's giving you loads of ships. Is there something else that he asked for? And then Kylo like kills him. It's like, why the fuck would you do that? I don't want that for Vader. And like, we've only had 2 minutes of Vader, and I'm already getting very worried because of the fact that just like, look how evil Vader is. He just killed that guy. And I'm just like
the trope I've always hated is where, like, a bad guy will employ a guy to do a job for him, and then he does the job, and he gets killed. It's like, well, no one would work in the criminal underworld if all these bad guys just went around killing everyone they worked with. It doesn't make any sense. So I get your point.
So someone just described it as a soy position. I want Vader to torture these people, not kill them. I want them to scream in agony, and then Kenobi has to stop him. That's the scene I was after.
Yeah, like he could have, if you wanted a horrific scene, he could like snap their limbs one by one or something with the Force. Like that, that's horrific. Okay. It would prompt him to do something, but this Kenobi isn't going to do that anyway because he's a pussy for some reason.
There's not much utility in just breaking their neck because it's just like, well, and that was my brain was like, yeah, because that at least that might force Kenobi to think it might happen again. It's like, well, no, he just fucking runs off because
that was my favorite thing.
Oh, he's such a...
Everyone's like, I'm going to lead Vader away from these people. And then he goes back to Window. He's like, I'll watch him kill another one first. It's like, what are you doing?
I think they're right, though, when they... I can't pronounce this guy's name, but every Disney villain is just an emo teenager. That's what you get now. Like, I don't know if it's just like the childish mindset of the people that write them now, but like, yeah, they're not cold and clinical and task-oriented. They are just like people who lash out with emotion. They've got power that they don't understand how to use, because that's the kind of mindset of the people who are writing shows like this now.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things I take away from it is what it says about the writers. It's like Reva, right? If all the leaks are true and she comes around and she's supposed to be redeemed because she saves one child after slaughtering thousands of people for the rest of her life, it's not that just that's immoral and doesn't make any sense. But the writers think that's a good thing to do. The writers think that does redeem you, which is a horrific thing for them as a person.
They do that all the time with that sort of shit. Did you see Black Widow?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where she wipes out the entire prison. No one cares.
Hey,
know that when
Black Widow's
mother as well. Like, she experiments on animals. She mind controls people, but she's fine. And I think the entire rationale behind it is like, it's okay when a woman does it, basically.
Well, yeah, and I guarantee you they would have thought to themselves like, well, they're prisoners, they're evil. Who cares if they die?
I think that's exactly it.
Yeah, like some of them might be there for tax evasion or something. Like I don't think they deserve to be executed.
Too bad, dude. It's like a Russian prison. There's plenty of people in there that are gonna be innocent.
Yeah, very much. Yeah,
the Red Guardian was put in there because he said mean things about the party. That's what he says anyway. I don't know if it's true, but I mean, Black Widow didn't care. Neither did the writers.
I mean, nothing makes sense in Black Widow.
Someone referenced T2 when the T-1000 is trying to torture Sarah to just call the John, like scream, and she refuses. Oh, it's a good scene. It's a good moment.
That was smart. That was a good insight into the characters. But the T-1000 was making a good tactical decision in that situation. Know that Sarah would refuse.
Yeah, you would have continued torturing it probably had Arnie not showed up.
Yeah. I mean, it's basic play on human nature, isn't it? It's like, I'm just going to hurt you more and more until you do what I want you to do. It's like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
At least,
I thought that's what Vader was doing, though, because he was choking someone at the time, and then the family member came out to help them, and I just saw it as like, get away, fly.
Where's
Kind of thing.
Vader?
You're
Pick up
beneath me, and then
the second person, torture them both. Why the fuck isn't it
honestly, it just
true.
the way it was shot, and I don't know if it's just down to the direction or the editing or whatever. It honestly just looked like he was walking down the street towards where he thought Obi-Wan was, and there was just random people who were there, and he just felt like killing them because he was pissed off. He was in a bad mood. That's the way it's played out on screen.
Yeah,
because there's no thought given to, there's no regard given to any one person. He's just like, yep, you snap your neck. Next person over there, I'm going to drag you along the ground. You're out. You're dead.
It's not the vibe at all for me with Vader. That man is so fucking interesting in Empire. And if someone was like, well, how do you explain the Rogue One hallway scene that? It's like, those are fucking terrorist, traitorous people that he's going to annihilate and get the plans from because they're trying to subvert his empire. You know, that shit to me makes complete sense. They're always pragmatic decisions. Because that's the thing. I was even okay with the idea that when he was a young buck, that he was much more like an exposed nerve going nuts. But Vader, like when you watch him in the OT, this man doesn't make like decisions randomly. Like, fuck it, I wanna torture some people. I'm gonna go right for it in this crowd. But anyway, that's really low level in terms of the issues for the episode, and I don't mind agreeing on that. Like I said, I figure that's probably a more controversial issue. What do you think of his voice?
I still see it as there's definitely a scene where I took it. Maybe it's just my interpretation, but I thought there was a scene as he's getting closer. Because I can't understand why he didn't run away earlier. Because Vader didn't know he's there. He's just walking down a street for some reason. Coincidentally, happens to be the only street where Obi-Wan is.
It's
but,
the planet
budgets,
street.
I guess. Yeah, exactly. There's one street in this entire, which I'm assuming is like a massive city or town or something. But no, there's one street.
I don't know.
And there is a bit where both of them have a reaction. And I don't know why Obi-Wan's supposed to detect him at a longer range than Vader could. That was weird.
Yeah,
and why does... Because other people are like, I sense a disturbance in the Force. But this one hit him like a weekend bender. It was like more like a hangover effect of him coming down on the planet.
It's been a while, okay?
Yeah. I'm not used to this sensation. But there's definitely a thing where I think... Because Vader doesn't kill anyone until that moment where I took it to mean he detected him. So, yeah, you could be like, well, he should torture more people.
The torturing, I think, has a pragmatic use. Just quickly executing people that he spots getting potentially in his way just seemed random to me and out of character a little. Like I said, it's low on the list, though. But yeah, I was going to say, what did you guys think of his voice?
Vader?
Yeah.
I thought it was all right. Like, it was clearly an approximation. Like, I feel like it has probably been digitized or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I wouldn't want to make any claims about what they've done. Apparently it's James Earl Jones, but I wasn't detecting Old Man Jones very much. No, I'm curious if they've done something to erase that element or something.
Yeah, because in Rogue One, it was much more...
It sounded old.
Describe it, gravelly, yeah. Like, clearly an older man by that point. But I didn't get that here. So I don't know if they just cleaned it up digitally or something.
Well, yeah, and I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that I thought it's the least disagreeable thing about it. I actually thought the voice was all right, and I was expecting it to be bad. So, someone said I thought it was Hayden's. I don't think Hayden Christensen can do that voice.
No. And this is it makes me wonder what the fuck Hayden Christensen's even doing in this show. Like, what are they even going to be able to use him for? They can only do a flashback, really. Because he can't be in this suit. Like, that's not really a worthwhile use of his time.
Again, man, they should have had flashbacks to the prequels, stuff that we need to know to make this relationship more meaningful. But they have 3 episodes, so we might. You never know.
Here's a question for all of us, I guess. Like, it's for me, but like you can all answer. What do we think of Vader's suit up scene?
Oh, I actually really liked. I thought that was the best part of the episode.
Not to nitpick, but I didn't realize why do they. I mean, you can change the model by the time we get to Return of the Jedi, I guess, but his helmet goes on a different way than I thought it worked. But again, I'm sure he has an upgraded model by then, so it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
See, that's one of the things I don't. know the exact way a suit goes on or anything, so that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. I just
mean,
thought it
you
was a
remember
cool scene.
the scene where Luke takes is the mask portion off, right? He pulls it from behind his head, and this though puts it like it's top down as opposed to wraps around. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just would have thought that they would want to do it the way that we saw it there, but that, I mean, whatever. As for like showing him suit up, it's not stuff that I ever need or necessarily want, but I mean, it looked good.
That's the entire series, though, isn't it?
I don't know. I think that there's a lot of substantive shit you can get out of having Obi-Wan in between the prequels and the OT. Having a scene of watching Vader suit up, it just seems more like cool.
Here's a slight fly in the ointment with this, right? And it's just my opinion on it, but the whole part of seeing him unmasked in Return of the Jedi was like to finally see this like terrifying monster of a character finally unmasked as just this old kind of scarred crippled man within this robotic suit. That was the impact of that scene. You realize like beneath all the terrifying voice and the big imposing armored suit,
yeah,
he was like, he's a crippled old man, like he's all scarred up and everything from his injuries. That was effective. But then when you see it in this, you get to see him again, like he's just in the tank. He's doesn't have any limbs. They all has to be fitted to him. It almost implies this kind of that same level of like, well, he's just underneath it all. He's just this very frail human form that couldn't survive by himself, and it's all just the suit to sustain him. But when you show it all getting put on him, you almost undermine the menace of the character. And I know this is all kind of old hat because we've seen Return of the Jedi, but I just don't know. I don't know what purpose it really serves in the context of this show. It almost undermines the danger of his character and the menace of him.
I kind of feel the same way. I don't know what I gain from seeing this, and then I start wondering what I lose, because especially if people would watch this chronologically, I feel like you really miss out on the first time you see him underneath the mask, like his face, because you see his face when they do this, and I was just like, oh, okay, I get that. There it is. When a huge moment in Return of the Jedi, obviously.
Yeah. See, now I'd never recommend anyone watch something like this chronologically. Always watch them in the order they're made. But I also think that these companies do prequels specifically so that they know future generations will. Like, loads of people started with the prequel trilogy, and that's where they started watching the movies. And they're just trying to put themselves into that moment. If that moment's so good, they want to undermine it. They want you to think of the first time you saw Vader without a suit as them. So I don't think any of this is written from what the audience gets out of it. I think it's written from how the writers can impose themselves upon the work, and they want sort of their legacy. Well, I was the first person to show Vader out of the suit. I think that's why this stuff's in.
This, this whole philosophy now of exploring every character's history in intimate detail, of giving you everything, of filling in all the blanks and just like filling all these spots in their history that you didn't know about before. It just reeks of diminishing returns. It reeks of we're just trying to mine that last little bit of interest out of these characters in this franchise, and that's kind of what you have here. And yet they simultaneously manage to do it in the least satisfying way possible. And it's just really shit to witness, really. I don't. MauLer must. I assume you being a fan of this series, you must feel the same way about this kind of stuff.
I feel like we've mentioned before about the different characters it's done to, but like, yeah, it's really hard not to conclude they're trying to humiliate Kenobi. Funnily enough, the first thing Jay said when we finished the episode was like, honestly, if you were trying really hard, could you have made a more insulting episode to Kenobi? And it's like, yeah, maybe, but they've done really good. Like, with the time they had, they did a really good job of making him shit.
I mean, I could have dressed him up as a clown or something. Or
yeah, you could do that. You could do a few extra bits and bobs. And it it starts like really early on too. Because I was gonna say, did you guys find it weird that he was surprised by Vader being Anakin and Anakin being alive? Do you find that strange at all?
I mean, it doesn't contradict, I guess, the situation that he's in. Like, if he's been in this isolated planet for a long time, it would kind of make sense. Like, he left Anakin, like, mutilated and on fire in a volcano. Like, I think it'd be reasonable to conclude that he probably died.
Right. Well, so what about when he looks at the recording of Anakin killing a bunch of people in the temple, and the Emperor says, "Rise, Lord Vader," knowing then that that's his name, we have to believe that in his time on Tatooine and in his contact with Bail Organa, he never heard of the literal fist of the Empire, Darth Vader, swiping through all of the galaxy, killing all the Jedi. Bullshit.
Yeah. I don't know how much contact he had with Bail up until this point. Because the way the show frames it, it's almost like, I haven't seen you in a long time, and like this is the first time you showed up here.
No way he wouldn't tell him, though. Like,
yeah.
Why isn't... Where the fuck's Ahsoka? She's around.
She's busy fixing other things.
It's stuff like that sums up the series. Like, you could bring in other characters for this kind of stuff, but I don't think these series are written from the point of, well, what can we give the fans, or what would make a good story? I think they start from the point of, well, we want Obi-Wan to look awful, we want Leia to make amazing, and we want Reva to be a great character. And then they're trying to desperately fit those into a story, which is why you end up... Because I think they'll have... It didn't matter whether that moment made sense. They wanted to write that moment because they wanted to be the people that wrote it. And so it's all from sort of an egotistical perspective of the people making it. We want to make our mark on Star Wars. The Halo writers said the same thing. Well, we had to change the story because we had to show it through our eyes. We had to write our story. It's all just a really egotistical, selfish perspective rather than what's best for the IP.
Because some people are doubting my Star Wars knowledge here. They're even saying these are deleted scenes. Look, okay, I know you all don't like the prequels that much, all right? And I'm sorry about that. But literally, Yoda refers to Darth Vader to Obi-Wan when saying he has to kill Anakin. He says Darth Vader. And so now the only way this can make sense is if Darth Vader was only recently revealed after 10 years, which is bullshit. He's been killing people for a decade, okay? That's what he's been doing. The galaxy fucking is terrified of Darth Vader.
That lines up with the canon of the original movies and the and the prequels, but then in this weird Disney world, are they just like, nah, fuck, none of that matters?
I just don't think they know this stuff because they don't really. I sound so almost gatekeepy of me, but I'm just like, how much do you like these movies? Be honest with me, the people who write this stuff. Like, how do you watch them once per year? And like, I can see them being like once per year. What the fuck? No.
I don't know how they square this with what happens in A New Hope when Leia is like talking to Luke about Obi-Wan. Like, is there not going to be any point where she would have said, "Wow, I went on this crazy adventure with Obi-Wan Kenobi"?
When she refers to, like, he fought with my father, Mr. Well, it's just like, man, this seems like more relevant things to your life that you would mention, but that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Like almost repeatedly getting him killed through your own bad decisions. I still like one of the things for me in this episode is still where he tells her to shut up, and then she runs off to a truck driver, starts talking to him, then tells him to get in the car, and he just goes along with it. At no point does he go, "No, I'm not going to follow this child into an obviously bad situation."
Dude, when he saw the Empire symbol,
it was like, make up an excuse, leave. Like, hit him with your lightsaber, anything but get in the truck.
I made a huge mistake when I was watching it, because when he saw that, I was like, oh, now he's gonna have to get an excuse to not go on there, because obviously he's going. Okay, well, and we were joking on EFAB. We were like, oh yeah, I'm sure they'll just randomly stumble across a bunch of stormtroopers now, and then it just like, what the fuck?
Right on cue.
God, it's so bad. Like, the writer, they just don't give a fuck. Like, we've got 40 minutes, all right? We're running out of time already.
This episode could be a carry-on film. There's so many moments like that happening, and the two scenes where he like runs away would definitely carry on films, even the timing of it and everything. And the first time he runs away and Vader doesn't even move, he just puts his, extinguishes his lightsaber, was gold. It's like even he was disappointed in Obi-Wan, as if,
Yeah,
oh,
it's like,
come on, dude.
You just wanted to see him like hang his head, like what?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I would be surprised if fucking Vader was like, "Are you a clone or something? Like, what's going on? Like, this is weird."
Oh, that's what
How
gets me with these
how
series.
did you go from like the guy who took on Anakin at his fullest power and defeated him to this?
He's sad.
He's sad.
Yeah.
What was
Very,
it that
very
kid
sad.
that was arguing with you and Wolf said once? Like his excuse for everything bad that ever
He's
happened.
old.
He
He
was
kept
just
saying
like,
he's old.
I got old.
Oh,
He's
old.
old, so he's useless now.
Remember old sad Yoda? He wasn't that powerful with it. He only could lift a fucking X-wing. It's just like, no, he's. I think that's what they're trying to argue. It's like Obi-Wan doesn't know how to fight anymore. He hasn't done it for ages. He doesn't know how to use the Force. He hasn't done it for ages. Even though he's hell bent on defending Luke from any and all possible. He wants to trade Luke in the Force. Motherfucker cut
Can't even
himself
use
off from
himself.
it. What?
Can I just say as well, like when we're talking about Reva, like I know there's been a big old controversy around the actress, how she's apparently been warned that she's going to face a lot of racist backlash and stuff like that. This really feels like premature gaslighting on the part of the company. It's like, we know you're not going to like this character because she's horribly written, so we're just gonna attach that big old R word to anything associated with her. And so if you do critique her in the slightest way, you're going to get tarred with that brush. It's the most like underhanded, like patently obvious tactic imaginable, and yet they're still doing it and they're still getting away with it. I just don't know how they can do this shit.
That's why I really like this episode, because this episode, she's barely in it, she barely influences anything, and it's still awful. My biggest problems about this are Leia, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Vader. Like, she doesn't even really factor into them. She does some stupid stuff, but nothing on their kind of scale. And so, it kind of destroys their entire argument, really, when it comes to that.
Like, she does a bit of teleporting, but to be fair, pretty much everybody does. So, it's like, yeah.
I mean, I'll reserve judgment until I've seen the next 3 episodes to see what her character ultimately ends up doing.
Yeah.
Like I say, I suspect that they are preemptively trying to guard against this because they know that they're trying to do this crazy redemption arc for her character. They're going to want you to like her by the end. And I think somehow they know you're not going to. And so they're just going to guilt you into liking her. You know, it's like, if you don't like this character by the end, it's because you're a big old R word, you know?
Well, yeah, that's what the conversation online's become now, which is a real fucking shame because of how shittily written this is, irrespective of Reva as a character.
Yeah.
But that was the entire point of doing it.
Yeah, I think that was the point,
Yeah, to shift the debate. The thing is, you could have her as just the sole character for the next 3 hours. There's no way you can redeem her for what she's done. Like, it's impossible. She could go out and live the rest of her life setting up various different charities and helping the universe. She's not going to redeem herself from the horrible things she's done in the series.
I think you probably can bring back a character from doing horrendous things, like if there's some kind of backstory to it, reason. You can, they did it obviously with Vader to some extent. I just don't think they have the writing skill to be able to pull it off in a show like this. I just think they're going to rely on, like, well, she was just good all the time. Okay, don't question it.
She's fair,
just a good character, like her.
I don't know how many people find this to be a hot take or not, but if Vader survived and went down to Endor with everybody, he should be tried for war crimes, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think Vader was redeemed. I don't think one good action eradicates a lifetime.
I
of
appreciate.
evil.
I think it redeemed
part
his
of him,
personality, but it didn't undo his actions.
Yeah, no, and so the same goes. So the problem with Reva for me is that if we what the fuck is her reason for becoming such a staunch Inquisitor? And if you tell me it's because she's annoyed that Kenobi left a bunch of Jedi to die, that's not going to make any fucking sense at all. Like, it's got to be something else. She needs to despise the Jedi Order, right? So is that going to be her logic, that like you're like a representative of a cult that's destroyed everyone's life? But then why would she like the Sith? It's like, well, they're like the Jedi, but they kill children. So
What?
I don't know. Like, how is that better?
Yeah, the moment where you know how they go to the safe house and like the fucking Jedi being retards apparently in this, like they each carve their personal like message onto the walls of this safe house, like the ones that have passed through there to go onto a safe space. She finds one in particular that just drives her into a rage. Is that like a family member? Is that what she's really looking for? Is it a sibling, a mother, something like that?
Yeah,
At her deal.
What someone said in the comments, I don't think there's been any leaks about it or anything, but they said they thought it was essentially Vader has told her that Obi-Wan's killed her father or something, and so she's after Obi-Wan in particular. Maybe she finds out Vader lied to her, and that's one of the reasons she turns on him or something. But I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out that the family have died, and that's...
I love this. Reva hates safe spaces.
It's not gonna work, whatever they try, because not only is it going to take very complex and nuanced writing to do it, they've got 40 minutes, and the rest of it's going to be shoved away on Vader, Obi-Wan fighting again and again. I assume we're getting 2 more fights. I think that rumor might actually be true. I didn't expect them to actually do a fight this episode. I was like, nah, they wouldn't. We haven't even had them meet yet. And it's like, no, they did. They legit did. It was that quick.
I can see one more fight. I struggle to picture 2.
The way I see it is
like Obi-Wan's
episode 4
in this one. Now he needs to like come back and win, or at least hold his own.
I could see it being 2 fights, quote unquote, when it's really just one, but there's a gap in the middle, probably, of where they separate or something. That's probably what they mean when they say 3, at least from the leak. But I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
Because it seems like they're just going to squeeze it for all it's worth, right? Everyone likes it when those 2 fight, so we got to make sure we do it a whole bunch.
Yeah. Oh, it's so sad. It's so sad that like they have such golden material, and this is what they do with it.
That does seem to be the thing, though. Loads of people, because I've like before I came on the show, my last comment was, I don't know how anyone can not like this series. I saw loads of people that previously have had to go at the previous episodes going, this was the best episode, this was amazing, and it's literally because Vader and Obi-Wan fought. That's all it took, and it doesn't matter how bad it was or how pathetic it made Obi-Wan or the choreography or anything. It's like, well, they fought, Vader appeared, it's great.
I think with this, it's probably less shit than Book of Boba Fett, but then it had further to fall because it had much more popular characters to work with.
I was gonna say, man, like ruining Boba Fett versus ruining Obi-Wan, Vader, and Leia. It's like, that feels like a bit more damage, doesn't it?
That really is.
I like
they're not trying to destroy Leia. That's just accidental.
Before the show came out, if you had said it ruins Obi-Wan, we'd be like, yeah, I figure. Vader, you'd be like, oh, damn, really? And then you go Leia, you'd be like, what ruins Leia?
How does it achieve all of this?
Oh no, she's more intelligent as a 10-year-old than she is in the original trilogy. She was not portrayed like this at all then. But
to be fair, she's also really stupid randomly in the show. So
yeah, but that's the writers that they think they're being clever.
She's alternately like stupid as fuck, but then insanely intelligent and perceptive and able to put together things that she, like a 10-year-old, should absolutely never be able to figure out.
Yeah, I've seen people say that's her using the Force to read people.
Oh,
like, but she doesn't do that later on. So how on earth... You can't just give someone a power that they stop using. People have even been saying, well, maybe they have to wipe her memory with the Force at the end of the series. It's like, if you write a series, you have to wipe someone's memory in a prequel, you probably wrote it badly.
That's you've retconned the shit out of it. It's like, how can we get out of this? Just wipe the memory, that'll be fine.
Yeah, that's waking up on the shower floor at Dallas kind of esque.
Yeah.
What do you guys think's gonna happen with Reva catching Leia? Like, where's that gonna go?
Right, so she'll have her for a little while. The diverse fucking resistance lady will help Obi-Wan to rescue her, and then it'll culminate in a big fight where Vader gets involved again. I don't think this is going to last for very long. Reva's probably going to explain a little bit about like what her motivation is, or Leia's going to be perceptive enough with the Force to be able to like guess at it because she can just figure out anything, I guess.
That could be where it comes out that somebody's been lying to her, and essentially Obi-Wan isn't the person she thought he was. And then in the next episode, she could look into Vader and find out, well, maybe he actually was lying to me, and then she turns on him in the final one. That would all line up. And that would be her. Because they even said in the Star Wars thing, we can't wait to show her story. It's like, well, you haven't really shown that much at the moment.
No.
So the next 3 episodes could be heavily Reva-focused.
I think what's going to happen is like they're going to realize that like these 2 powerful women need to work together to like all the bullshit that the men have created, and then they'll wipe their own memories at the end of it, so that like they don't, so it doesn't like contradict the canon of the OT, and then that's it. That's your show right there. Now you're laughing, but I wouldn't put it past Disney at this point. I would not put it past them.
Oh, dude, the reason I was laughing was I'm like, if you want to predict the series, think of the worst thing that could possibly happen, and that's what the worst, most obvious thing. That's what they've written,
and multiply it by 5.
You never know what Disney's going to deliver, because if you had said there'll be like the multicolored rainbow mopeds chasing someone in Boba Fett, we'd be like, what? Why? No. And you're like, no, it's going to happen. And you're gonna love it. It's going to be great. And yeah, I don't know about you guys, but like I think episode 1 is probably the best so far. But when we saw it, we were just like, it's gonna get worse. They always get worse. They can't even maintain the quality of their opening episodes in these shows. They never do. And 3 is the worst of the 3 as far as I'm concerned. And so 4, 5, 6 probably gonna be worse again.
Yeah, you might have to wait until it's over before I review it. I'm not going to do it like episode by episode or anything, but when it gets to the end, I'll give you my thoughts. But it's not shaping up to be good.
I was going to say, I just heard your thoughts on it for the past hour.
I know.
This is it.
I'll put it up to like 4 times speed and then just put that as my review.
Yeah, like you doing it in video format quicker. It's like, would they prefer you go over in detail like all the scenes right now? They would have just listened to it. Gosh, you never know with people.
They're not many people are going to want to sit through an hour of me ranting. So.
Well, but I meant this person was literally here. Like,
yeah, that's true. Who knows? Like, maybe MauLer, maybe the next 3 episodes are going to completely turn us around, and we'll be like, "Holy shit, this is the best TV show we've ever seen, ever."
I don't think fire everyone halfway through. That's what it'd take at this point. It's like,
again, Go ahead.
What it shows about the writers and everything, because I've always been amazed, because there was Wheel of Time, then Halo, what I reviewed, and every single episode, I'm like, this is as worse as it can get. You can't make this any worse. And they always amazed me and surprised me in how they could get worse every episode in new and original ways that I never saw coming. Yeah. And I can only imagine it's because they try and top themselves every episode. And they're trying to be good. But the more they try to be good, the worse it gets.
I was going to say, there's a couple people been at me about it. You'll get the first of the EFAP minis tomorrow, Friday, yeah. And then, depending on how fast I can edit these things, they'll be Friday, Wednesday, instead of weekly. Just because, things go too fast on the internet now. By the time I get the 3rd episode out in 3 weeks, everyone will be talking about how bad the 6th episode is because Vader's head gets chopped off and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, God, I gotta
you want to keep more.
I just gotta keep moving. Gotta get them gears spinning.
I was going to say, Disparu, obviously you've covered things like Kenobi, but I know one of the other big things that you've covered on your channel has been the Rings of Power, because that's shaping up to be quite the show.
Have you seen the new Empire covers?
Well, it's funny you should mention that. Actually, let me show you. I'll share this with our lovely viewers, and they can draw their own conclusions from this, right? Let's see.
Because I have quite a sick taste when it comes to this stuff. The worse something gets, I find it funny, and then I'm just like, this is amazing. Like, something gets so bad, it's great.
Yeah.
So, are you ready for the first one? Because there's 3 of these different covers, like they're alternate covers. So the first one is Galadriel taking a shit. She looks like she's squatting over a toilet there.
It's what I love about that is like, no, well, men do this, so obviously, because we simultaneously hate men but think everything about them is great, so we've got to imitate them. So they're doing the male pose, and then they thought, well, we can't just have it like flashing the audience, so we'll cover it up, which defeats the entire reason to do the pose in the first place.
I'm trying to find like what's the best like section for me to show here, because
But everything's safely covered. But
We'll
the
just
fact
zoom
that
out
you
a bit.
felt the need to cover it is why women don't sit like that in the first place. There's no reason for women to sit like that in the first place. It's not.
It's a power pose, isn't it? It's like, how can we try and make her look as intimidating as possible in her little chainmail armor? You know, she's got a dagger there. Look at the dagger.
It's not a power pose, though, is it? It's a power pose for men because of what it says about their biology. It's not a power pose for women.
It's not, no. But this is this weird mentality, I guess, of trying to like make them the same, I guess.
And that expression is the evil expression. You look down and look up like that. That's what the villain is supposed to do.
Well,
Not
here,
somebody that's
there's
meant to
an
be a good
interesting
guy.
little quote as well here, just right at the side. You might not be able to see it quite right, but it says, "Don't expect the same Galadriel."
Yeah.
Oh,
we knew
that's not
that.
good. I've not even read it.
I love, because that's couched in these terms of wow, she's going to be so badass this time around. Really, what it means is like we've just written a completely different character, and we're just going to slap the Galadriel name on her and just expect you to like her. Really.
Yeah, in Wheel of Time season 2, the showrunner said he didn't like the personality of Rand in book 2, so he's just written him a new one, and he just openly came out and said it. And that's what this is. Oh, well, you know, we kind of didn't like Galadriel from the books, so we've just changed her into an entire person that
Now
we think she should be.
this badass warrior woman with a dagger, and she's killing things constantly because she's so cool.
Full
Yeah,
of piss
okay,
and vinegar.
but hey, it gets better. It gets better. Like, should we scroll down? Are you ready?
Oh,
All right, let's get the
I hope
next
it's the
one.
one I think it is. That's the one. What have they done to her? I can't. That is so heavily photoshopped. She
was
looks
about to
computer
say.
generated on a PS2.
I was actually gonna say, like, this isn't the original, right? Like, something's been done to it.
Oh, this is it. This is what Empire have produced. This is officially like promo material.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some weird fucking filters on him. I don't know what's going on there.
Like I saw this on Nerdrotic stream, and I was with him. I thought that because, as said, well, Perry's got some more for you. I thought this was fake because it looks so awful. It looks like one of the cheap fast memes someone will do on a stream, and it's deliberately awful. It's like, no, this is promotional material. They couldn't even be bothered to get them to. I'm not even sure they're there.
No,
Probably not at this point. Nothing's real.
Yeah.
It's all fake.
Like they just took
Everything's
another photo of
CGI.
her and put it next to him.
It's yeah, this looks absolute garbage. And wait, I think I can top it though. So you guys, are you ready for the third one?
No.
Let's go together. We'll hold hands and off we go. These are hobbits.
I'm telling you, if I was Lenny Henry and they gave me that costume, I'm not doing the show. I'm not doing it anymore.
Right.
Like, why have you made me look like a barrister? That's a barrister's wig. I don't understand.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's quite a look. Yeah. Wow.
How does
The-
hair even grow like that? Because they used to have like the lamb chop style with massive sideburns and stuff, but that's way too far back to be sideburns. I don't.
it's like they haven't even glued them onto his face properly, so they're just kind of like falling off his jaw. You know, like if you see it like there, it's like it's not even attached. What is this nonsense? So yeah, ladies and gentlemen of the chat, this is hobbits now. This is what hobbits look like apparently. Yep.
I don't understand. They only put those people in because they said the audience wouldn't feel like it was Lord of the Rings without hobbits. So they just made up a load of people. And then they've made them not look like hobbits. So what's the point?
And they wonder why people aren't warming to this show. I mean, honestly. What are they expecting here?
Do you think?
Have you considered if you insult your fan base enough, they might actually like it?
Do you think this one can be the one that makes a difference? Because everyone's gonna fucking hate this. Because nobody wants this.
It genuinely seems like this is one of those few times where an entire fan base has been galvanized against one of their own products.
Yeah, because they're already against it, and like this will probably be bad. It's probably gonna be. It'll probably be bad for someone who knows nothing about Lord of the Rings. It's probably gonna be that level of shitty writing, and so surely, finally, after Halo as well, like God, please.
Bums on Venice Beach.
That's what they look like.
Venetian
I do think
bums.
I do think it's a perfect storm because you've got all of the other franchises that you've annoyed. They will be coming over and going, you need to watch out for this. We know what they're going to do. And every time you destroy a franchise, those people will multiply and they don't go away. They'll stick around for the next one. And then you've got the largest sort of fantasy IP ever, which people have grown up with.
Dude,
so yeah, I think it's the perfect storm.
It's like you've got several castles, they've all been raided, and you look back at your golden castle's never been touched, and there's someone outside knocking on the door, and you're like, you get the fuck away from I don't care what you're doing here, get the fuck away from my castle. It's like, no, we just want to play with you.
I think, do you think it comes down to what they've actually shown in the trailer and Vanity Fair articles and stuff? Or do you think it's just down to the experience that we've had with so many other franchises over the past?
Combo. It's got to be both put together.
Yeah.
People don't have the patience anymore. Before, people may go, well, we'll wait for it. And it's like, no, now we know the signs. You know in the interviews, the kind of red flags that people will mention, the certain terms and words that they will show things. Then you see the marketing strategy, which hasn't been designed to sell you the show. The marketing strategy has been, how can we make you trust these other people because they like the show? It's like, don't believe your eyes, believe these people over here. And Amazon used this exact strategy with Wheel of Time before. It doesn't matter what you think, these people love it. These people have all got interviews and everything else. And so they're going to sort of push you your opinion that you should have. And the fact that we've showed you a trailer and you didn't like that, we'll just hide that over here. No, trust the people. I don't like the whole idea of getting influencers, their word, not mine, to come out and do this stuff. Because if you're confident in a product, you shouldn't need someone else to sell it for you. You should just put out a trailer and it should sell itself.
Yeah.
I mean, do that anymore. It's safer to use the established fan base IP and then pay people to promote it. That's the way forward.
I think it was so that superfans like video or multiple videos that were done across multiple takes because they had to get it right. It's one of the most just blatant, like corporatized, fake. This is what real people think about our show. Pieces of nonsense that I've probably ever seen, and the fact that they chose some of the most unlikable, unbelievable people to try and promote it as well. Like they made sure to tick every possible box with that collection of people that were going to be promoting this, and none of them came across as even remotely genuine. They were all just like, given the standard talking points about the show, about how they wanted to see more representation, more diversity of characters, how they wanted to bone Sauron because they could fix him or something. All these things that report to them. What fan of Tolkien is ever going to think like that? Is ever going to say things like that? What they're going to care about is it true to the world that he created? Is it accurate? Is it faithful? Those are the things that people are going to care about. And that was never addressed because these people didn't have a fucking clue about that world. Most of them didn't seem to even understand what Lord of the Rings even was.
Oh, yeah, that was the interesting part of it. Not a single one was a fan across any of the countries. There was even comments about how they can't wait to see Gandalf in this age, and they can't wait to see how the rings are destroyed, because obviously by the time you get to Lord of the Rings, there's only one ring still left. Like, they didn't even understand basic parts of the lore. And when they did the recent one in London, the people that went there said, oh, we're so glad they've listened to the fans. And what they meant by listen to the fans was, I'm so glad they've got us now, so we know about Lord of the Rings, and the other people didn't. So they're like, well, this is an improvement. Like, yeah, but that's not really my problem with it. My problem is doing this in the first place. And it was so over-corporatized, those original superfans. It was the English one that spoke about diversity and this and that and how I can fix them and everything else. The foreign trailers weren't like that at all. They didn't have any of the same talking points. They still had people that didn't really know Lord of the Rings. But when it came down to those things, it didn't feel like they were pushed in that direction. And it's largely because other non-English speaking countries don't go in for that as much. So this has been something that had been planned and deliberately we're going to aim each one of these videos at each country, and no one is supposed to know via the internet that this has happened or that different ones were done in a different thing. People don't talk to each other.
Yeah, it's like, who would have thought that people from different countries would share information across the internet? Like, crazy talk.
Yeah, the entire marketing strategy was that we were never supposed to find out, which is why there was such a backlash. And I think now why they went to the strategy of we're just going to do one event and we're going to get a load of... They're trying, but what they're trying to do is cover something up rather than just sell the show. These people have seen this footage. They're going to tell you it's amazing. We're not going to show you, or we're not going to allow them to talk about it. They're just going to tell you how amazing it was. Trust them. Oh, it reeks to me. And the longer it goes on, the more it reeks.
I just, obviously all we've had so far has been a teaser trailer, but when they release a full trailer, like, I can't wait to see what the reaction is to that, because it feels like there's such animosity now towards this show. They could almost show anything and it's not going to change people's perception. Like, it just seems like now it's kind of crystallized. People just are against this show.
Yeah, the strategy they used for they used the same strategy for this as used for the Wheel of Time. And Wheel of Time worked because it's a smaller franchise, and so on all the media and everything, they could put out the stories, and that kind of flooded positive opinion about it until people watched the show and realized they didn't like it. With this, because it's such a massive fan base, it didn't really matter how many people they got to go to this thing. They were never going to just overwhelm public opinion, which is why I think this one could be different than everything else. The issue they've got is... Oh, where was I going to go with this? I've completely lost my train of thought. The moment I started thinking about it, I thought about something completely different. I've lost my point on that original thing.
No, that's cool. I mean, I think, yeah, we can all probably agree that their PR for this show so far has been absolutely disastrous, and like almost every new move that they make just seems to make things worse. I don't know what their solution is, but it just seems like, yeah, when it comes out, it's going to be an absolute shitstorm.
Oh, that is it. Yeah, we've only seen one trailer, but in the last meeting of the fans where they took people to London and stuff, they showed them 20 minutes of sort of selected scenes from presumably across the series, and then they gave them an interview with the showrunner, and they came back. And all they were saying, because they weren't allowed to, under NDA, talk about what they actually saw. So they kept saying, the showrunners really know the lore. They're really enthusiastic about it. They love it. Like, well, okay, but Halo showrunners said the same thing. Rafe Judkins says the same thing about Wheel of Time. Words aren't enough. You need to show people things. And I think this is an incredibly bad marketing strategy from them, because... yeah, at this point, people have made up their own minds. And so you really needed to get ahead of this and just show what you've made. It should be able to sell itself. It's had enough money put into it. If it's that good, why are you so concerned with hiding it from everybody except a few YouTubers kind of thing? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. No, I think it's a pretty valid question, actually. There was... when we were talking about this kind of thing, there's someone who decided to weigh in on this entire discussion, and I'm going to see if I can share the article here.
Oh no! Whenever there's an article, it's bad news.
There's so many Rings of Power articles. It's been amazing.
Fuck! It's come up with that ad blocker thing. Yeah, it was a little taste from George R.R. Martin saying, "I don't understand why people can come to hate something that they love. They once loved." So talking kind of simultaneously about toxic fandoms within Lord of the Rings and towards his own shows, which
I mean, well, has he never had a girlfriend? Like, come on.
He's never been divorced, clearly.
That was one of the amazing things. He basically says people like Brand, so you should just like Brand, and no matter what Brand says or does, you like Brand, right? You like Star Wars. You'll always like Star Wars. Star Wars could do anything, but you like Star Wars. And then, if you don't like that, you don't like Star Wars anymore. You're just not a real fan in his eyes. I'm like, oh.
I think it's so funny when he's like, I can't understand the animosity that there is now towards Game of Thrones TV shows. It's like, did you watch season 8 at all? Like, did that pass you by, George?
I wouldn't be surprised if he hasn't, because he doesn't do any other work.
It's an interesting thing, right? Because I genuinely don't know anyone who's talking about House of the Dragon. Like, there's still a lot of chat on Rings of Power because everyone seems to fucking hate it. There's obviously a lot of chat around Star Wars and all that sort of thing, but nobody seems to give a shit about the House of the Dragon. That trailer just came and went like a fart in the wind. And I think, honestly, the ship has sailed with Game of Thrones. I think the normies have lost interest in it now because they saw Game of Thrones and even they recognized that season 8 was kind of shit and they just thought, right, I'm done with this now. I'm not interested anymore. And the hardcore fans are just probably pissed off that he's focusing energy on this and not writing Winds of Winter. So I feel like it pleases no one. Nobody's interested in this show.
And the IP came to a nice conclusion. It was a terrible conclusion, but it finished. You know what I mean? Like, the story was done. And so you get that kind of ending. Even though like nobody liked the ending, the story was at least finished. It was all wrapped up. And then you want to come back and do a prequel. And no, I can understand. And the worst decision they've made is they want to go head to head with Rings of Power. And he's like, oh yeah, if we get 7 Emmys and they get 6, I'll be fine with that. I don't think it's a big fight between them. We can all do amazing at the Emmys. Like, that's who he cares about. He cares about the awards. He cares about the pomp and ceremony.
Just
the prestige of it all.
The accolades, the ego stroking, just all that shit. This is what I've said about George for ages now. Like, he has lost interest in doing the hard graft of like finishing Winds of Winter and then doing A Dream of Spring. What he cares about is just doing more producing gigs on shows where he can just give some script ideas and then watch them get turned into these like big multi-million-dollar productions, and he can just show up to all these premieres with his fucking captain's hat on and get loads of pictures taken and get given loads of fake fucking accolades that no one cares about. It's all about stroking the ego. It's not about doing any actual work at this point. And that's why every like fucking year or so he'll put out a blog post saying, yeah, I'm still working on Winds of Winter, but just enjoy my other projects, the things that are really easy. Just enjoy them and don't hassle me because I don't want to have to do work because I'm old and tired now. That's where he's at.
In that same article, he says, I think people don't like this new stuff because it's changing. I'm like, yeah, the reason people don't like Obi-Wan is because it's nothing like the actual IP. With the reason people didn't like Halo is it's nothing like the IP. It says, but writers need to change things because otherwise they'd get bored. They don't want to write the same old stories in the same old universes. I'm like, that's why he hasn't finished the book. He sees continuing those stories, not as new stories that he could write for the old characters, but he sees it as just boring old content. He wants to move on to the next thing. He's like someone who started a project and he's got fed up with it.
Yeah. And that's why you have to set yourself a deadline to finish it.
Yeah, I would appreciate that if it would if he was honest about that. If he said, "Guys, I've lost my passion for writing this," I'd be like, "That happens, and that's fair. Pass it to somebody who is." So we can get the
hasn't he said? I think Gary said this, that he said he doesn't want anyone else to finish the book. Like, even if he dies tomorrow, he said he doesn't want anyone else to. Like, Wheel of Time was finished by Brandon Sanderson, and he wrote out like the final chapter and. Because he knew he was close. So he wrote out an outline for all the other books and where he wanted it to go so someone else could do it. Because you owe your audience that. That's like your duty to pass on the torch to somebody else so that your audience, who should be the most important thing for you, actually get a conclusion. And he's like, no, I don't care about them. I want an Emmy.
Yeah, this is the thing, right? As just a purely creative endeavor, yeah, you're entitled to write whatever you want. Like if you want to spend years of your life doing like a multi-volume companion set to the main narrative, that's within your purview to do. But your fans are not obliged to read it, and they're not obliged to enjoy it. And when you're a commercially successful author like he is, you're not just a guy who's doing this for his own pleasure. You're a business entity. And so you've got your fan base who made you what you are. They made you the success that you are, and they made you extremely wealthy and very successful. You have entered into a contract with them, and you now owe them something. And so you might not want to do it, but like you need to finish that book as a moral obligation almost to them, because they're the people that made you successful in the first place. You've got to give them something back. And I hate this petulant fucking childish attitude of like, well, you should just enjoy whatever I choose to produce, no matter how like fucking random it is and how unrelated it is to what you're actually invested in, because it's me. You're bought into me as a brand. It's like, no, they're not. They care about the narrative that you were weaving. That's what's important to them. They don't fucking care about like whatever random vanity project you want to take on or whatever prequel you want to do. That's not what they're interested in. They want a conclusion to A Song of Ice and Fire. And if you're too fucking lazy to do it now, like, yeah, you need to pass it on to someone else who can actually conclude it, because it's really shitty behavior and it's really unprofessional behavior for an author like that to refuse to fulfill that obligation.
Yeah, that's the way you get it. It is a case of, you have the freedom to do anything, but just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. And I thought moral obligation is the right term for it. There are things which you're not forced to do, and you are free not to, but it's the right thing to do, and you should do it. And especially when you're in sort of any entertainment space, like, I don't want to watch Obi-Wan Kenobi, but people want to see the videos on it, so that's what you do, right? Like, comedians, they may want to be taken seriously and go off and write some fantasy epic, but they're comedians. Their job is to make people laugh. There are things that you are required to do, and if you didn't want to write a fantasy epic series for $10, then write one with 3. That he could have done that. He chose not to.
Speaking of that, by the way, when Jay put out tweets critical of the show, someone quote tweeted him saying, "Why the fuck are you watching it if like all you're gonna do is hate it? Why even continue it if it's so bad?" And Jay was like, "It's my job." Mm-hmm. They were like, "YouTube's not a job."
I love that. Yeah, get a real job. 9 to 5.
If they want to say that it doesn't follow conventional rules of jobs, that's one thing. But Jay will be like talking about. I think Jay has already said they're going to make a video on this show. So
I think there's two strands to it. One is that it's a thing with a considerable amount of interest, and so you're almost obliged to make a video about it as a movie critic or a film critic or whatever. And on the other hand, like with you, with Jay, with myself and other people, like you've got kind of an investment in these characters. And even if you hate the concept of the show, you at least care enough about them to see what they do with them.
Well, yeah, because there's a lot of people out there who will watch it and be like, "This ain't right," but I'm not entirely sure why. And then they'll tune in and be like, "Oh yeah, they shouldn't be doing that. Oh yeah, like that is what they, I assume, are listening to us for. They want us to do it, let's say, quickly and coherently, explain what's wrong with it and stuff." But yeah, as you just said, like Ahsoka, for example, I don't think I'll be watching that unless there's a lot of interest from my audience about my opinion on it, because I just don't care about it. But Kenobi, yeah, I would have watched this show if I didn't have YouTube at all. I would have. I'm relatively invested, especially in the fact that it's Ewan McGregor. I want to see what they do, and I'm very upset. This nothing about this is like being done specifically for the audience at this point, but that's an element that can play in depending on what we're covering. But yeah, it is weird because you get a lot of that online now. It's like, why watch something if you're not enjoying it? From people who say your work is bad, by the way. It's like, how do you know? Are you watching it? Why would you watch it? Don't you hate it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The one thing I got a lot of with both Wheel of Time and Halo were people in the comments going, "I'm really glad I saw this video because I thought I was going insane." Like, everywhere I go, all the reviews say it's amazing. The video say it's amazing. Big Halo channels, Wheel of Time channels were all going, "This is the best thing I've ever seen. You should love this." Like, but I think this is awful. And then when they finally come across someone which is actually pointing out what they see, like, I'm so glad this exists. There's definitely a space, and it should exist. Two sides of anything should exist. And then people can make their own minds up which they prefer or which they find most entertaining watching.
I think it as well. Like if you're able to back up your opinion of a show or a movie or whatever, saying like, okay, this sucks. Here's like 10 reasons why. Here's all the problems with it. You know, it's kind of then hard to then just label you as like, well, you're just a hater because you're doing it for clicks or whatever. It's like, well, no, like I've given you my reasons why I dislike this thing and why I think it doesn't work. Like as a writer on a purely like mechanical level, here's all the problems with it, whatever it might be. Those are pretty valid reasons. You can dispute them if you want, but like at least you're providing something to your audience. That's what people want, I guess. That understanding of where the problems lie.
Yeah. It's so weird that they're so celebratory, typically, of like loving media. They're just ensconced with the idea of it. But it's like, you understand there's another part that comes with that. If you love a thing, it's like, well, so what would be the inverse? What's the opposite feelings you can have? And we're okay with that one too, right? Yeah, it's all good.
It's this, you know, what it is though is this terrifying idea of well, if you like a thing, like if you like Star Wars, you're just going to automatically like any Star Wars thing that comes out. You know, however shit it is, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't matter. The characters are completely different people now. Doesn't matter. You know, it looks like garbage. Doesn't matter. It's Star Wars. You should just enjoy it. Same with Marvel. Same with whatever it might be. And that is just a really terrifying prospect as any kind of critic of media, I suppose. Like, particularly for me as a writer, it's like, no, you should at least expect a level of quality with the writing, with the storytelling behind it. That's why people watch this. Like, that should be why people watch this stuff, because they're genuinely enthralled by it.
It used to be part of entertainment, though, that you were only as good as your last piece of work. That's what anyone will remember you for, because they judge everything independently. This whole idea of just being a fan, because fan comes from fanatic, it's like, I think that's what they think. That's why these companies buy the IPs. They think they buy the fan base, and then they'll just have all of them, and they can do whatever they want and change it all, and they stick with them. They find out very quickly that's not how it is, but for some reason, they don't learn the lesson. That's what amazed me about all of this stuff. Okay, you can make the mistake once. If you do it twice, that's very odd. It sounds like you didn't really analyze why this failed in the first time. And it's like Amazon to buy Lord of the Rings and then just think, oh no, we can make anything and people will love it because Lord of the Rings. And that's what amazed me about George just coming out and just openly saying you should just love brand because it's brand. I'd always thought that's how they felt. None of them ever just openly mask off said it though. That the peasants will like what we feed them. That's what really amazed me about it.
It was so disappointing to hear from him as well. I mean, it's kind of in some ways what I expected. It's what I thought that he felt about his work and his fan base and stuff. But like you say, for him to just straight up come out and say, yeah, why don't you just accept everything that we produce? Why don't you just like it because it's got the Game of Thrones brand on it, or it's got the Star Wars brand on it? It's like that's not how it works. That's not how it should work. If you're presuming upon people's time, if you expect people to watch the thing you've produced, they're giving up something valuable. Like they're giving up money to pay for it. They're giving up their time to watch it. They're giving you something really important, and you should not take that for granted. But like that's what they do. Like they get to that level of success, maybe they just don't give a shit. I don't know. They become disconnected from it.
I think it's probably because I've always thought that with YouTube videos, right? Some people are watching your videos and they could be doing literally anything else, and they're choosing to watch you and spend time doing that. That's massive. But I think with him, not only is the point where he's like, well, you know, I've made so much money, I don't really care. But there are some videos you put out, and it's like, you just did it really quickly, and it took off, and you think that didn't really deserve it. And I do wonder if they do the same thing. Have there just been times where he's just... How much work did he put into Elden Ring? Did he write that much? Probably not.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know the
There's
story.
not a huge amount of story behind that one, I'm not going to lie.
Exactly. It's one of the biggest games. So even like, well, you know, I spent, maybe 20 hours writing something and made one of the best games of all time. People will just like anything, no matter how pathetic I make it. And I think over time, you can become so successful, you just completely lose grounding in reality, and you think it's deserved because you're so amazing. And the moment you do that, it's kind of over. Because you won't try.
Yeah. And there's always going to be someone else who's hungry for that success, who's going to come up behind you and who's going to like steal that success out from under you. That's what they don't seem to appreciate, particularly now, like in the kind of online space that we have. Like, yeah, there's so many other things to choose from. And yeah, like George, guys like him, they come from a different generation, I suppose. Like he's what, mid-70s now? Like he doesn't understand how this works anymore. You know, he's been wrapped up in the Hollywood bubble for the past 10 years. He had his show, he's got another 5 different prequel shows on the boil right now. He's doing like producing gigs and writing gigs for like video games. It's all just stuff that like insulates him from like what his actual fans think and what they want.
The other problem is the more projects you do, the less you can care about all of them. So if you've got one major fantasy series, that's everything to you. That's your life work. But if you've got 5 different projects at the same time, who cares? Other people are doing all the work for you. You're just like consulting a bit, and so it's not going to mean anything to you. And if you've already sold out your IP, like we saw what he did to Game of Thrones, like that's already essentially been ruined. Why does he care if someone does another series and ruins it like earlier?
Ruins it earlier.
Yeah, it's like, well, we're going to just run a prequel. As long as he gets his check, I genuinely don't think he cares at all.
I think even at this point, it's more about just being able to go to premieres and go to like awards ceremonies and stuff. Just, you know, just get attention, get your photo taken, like just be there. It seems like that's kind of what he wants now. Just anything to avoid having to sit in that office by himself and write Winds of Winter.
People show their true feelings by what they talk about and the topics they talk about. So when someone gets a new acting role, if they don't start talking about, well, you know, I like to play this role because I've grown up with the character and I really enjoy the character and now I can portray them on screen. If their first thing is, well, this is great because of diversity, you know that they don't care about the role. And with him, the first thing he talked about was the fans should like whatever they're served, and I hope I get Emmys. So just by the topics that he thought he should talk about in the answer, broadcast his true feelings. Not a single bit. It was, I hope that this is a great show that the fans love. Didn't even cross his mind.
Yeah, that is terrifying shit. That's where he's at. Do you gentlemen have a little bit of time for some super chats at all?
Of course.
Yeah, I do.
All right, cool. Because yeah, I know there's been a lot that have come through. All right, try to contain your excitement. I know you'll get through this. Don't worry. All right, cool. So, give me 1 second. I'll bring up the list. The first one that came through tonight was from Daniel Eade, who said, "Good day, mate. You guys are put in charge of DC Films to reboot the entire franchise. Which 3 movies would you make first, and who are the directors? Thank you." So if we got put in charge of the DCEU, we got to like redo it, what the fuck would we do with it? Nuke it all for more, but
I guess like strategically, you're probably going to want to. Can we wipe out our current cultural impact of all these different things? Because if I want Superman and Batman, it's just like, God, another one. You're like, yeah, I guess so. Because like everyone fucking loves Batman, so that just seems like the smart decision to go with. But maybe a Green Lantern. We could try that again. As for directors, let's see if we can get Edgar Wright.
let's keep Zack Snyder out of things for now.
All right, so Edgar Wright can do. He'd probably have fun with Green Lantern, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Part of it would be talking to these directors and figuring out if they're passionate about any of these characters. Because, man, is it just more reliable to grab one that's read the comics and loves the person, sort of thing. That's why like people want Sam Raimi to do more Spider-Man stuff, because he's like super passionate about Spider-Man. So, you know, you kind of like, everyone's just like, let him play with his toys instead of Doctor Strange.
He can't, Raimi can't work within the Marvel system. I mean, no one can effectively. You can't put any.
He might be able to, if not the way they did it with Doctor Strange, but maybe if they let him actually like do his own thing. Because I mean, this No Way Home is the best thing we got in Phase 4, so maybe Spider-Man is something that you can break out in a bit. instead of succumbing to the sludge. But who else?
I mean, I liked, the Batman. I thought that was a good take on the character, and so that was Tim Miller, wasn't Tim Miller.
Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves, that was it. Why did I say Tim Miller for some reason? Yeah, I think he would be a good guy to do a trilogy of Batman movies. So I wouldn't really have an issue with that. I would wipe out Batman versus Superman and the Justice League and stuff, because that was just a non-starter. And yeah, I'd probably go with something like that to get things rolling. I don't know who the fuck I would have directing Wonder Woman. It wouldn't be Patty Jenkins, that's for sure.
Didn't like Wonder Woman 84. What the fuck?
That was a movie.
Yeah.
See, I don't know anything about directors. I judge the movies, but the people that make them, I just kind of... I'm terrible with names, and remembering them is the worst thing ever for me. But yeah, I definitely want... Because I'm even looking at the characters, I'm like, the only really ones I care about are Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman as it is. I'd want to do the new Superman ones, and I'd kind of be interested in a Batman movie that was like the Arkham games, where he plays more of a kind of a detective thing. And look, everyone keeps going back to Batman when he is. I want Batman, like Gary, at the peak of his power, where something major goes down in the city, and he's just taking on multiple people at the same time. Because I know in the third Batman with Bane, they tried to do a citywide thing. I didn't like that movie at all.
Nobody likes it.
I agree.
If there was more... I've seen some people that love that movie.
Okay, yeah, some people like it. I'm being cynical.
Yeah, it's like, no. I walked out of that movie. I think that's where I'm like, I'm kind of done with all this kind of stuff. That was the beginning of the decline for any superhero stuff for me. I'm like, this is...
I think
really enjoyed
that
the
was a
second
great
one.
example of like smart stupidity in a movie, where it's like it's like a really dumb plot wrapped up in the veneer of like an intelligent director. That was the problem. Like everyone just had this opinion of like, well, it's Nolan who directed it, so of course it's smart. Of course it's like really airtight plot wise. It's like, no, it's not. It's really dumb.
See, that's something I'll never like. I saw the same thing with Doctor Strange. People were defending it based on the director. I just don't care. I'll judge it off the movie. Stuff like camera, how things are framed and stuff. I don't even think about that. For me, it's more like the plot and the characters, whether I like them or not. But I'd like to see where multiple villains to kind of team up and take down the entire city, and Batman's got to face off multiple people when he's at his prime. That's the kind of movie I'd want to see.
If we're starting up a whole universe, though, we're probably going to need to go from the beginning from all these lads, aren't we? Even though everyone's
absolutely.
Tired of everybody having origin stories all the time. But hey, we'll do them good, okay? I swear.
I despise origin movie films. I think what did it for me was where I kept going back to see Spider-Man movies, not following what had happened, and it's a new Spider-Man with a new actor, and it's the same origin story. I just got bored of them. I'd rather just jump into an established character and go from there.
Well, I think that's what the MCU kind of did with Spider-Man, where they're like, yeah, you've seen him get bit by the spider enough times, you don't need that anymore. They just kind of jumped into it. He's got his powers now, which is kind of fair enough, I suppose.
It's like most of the origin stories, they're not that complicated. It is things like, well, I got bitten by a spider, or radiation gave me these powers. It's like, okay, I'm not that bothered.
Yeah, it was the simplicity of comic books back then, where it's just like, it's just something to get the ball rolling, really, and that's all it needed.
Yeah, fell into a toxic vat of things.
Yeah. It gave me superpowers instead of, like leukemia. Yeah. The next one is from Jim Junkie, who says, what people don't realize about Star Wars is that it didn't pause between 1983 and 1999 and then stop again after 2005. The expanded universe was alive and well between those dates. I'd say bring back the EU, but they'd screw that one up too. Yeah, that was a real shame that they threw all that away. Like the expanded universe, like all those books, all those stories, they were all gone. But now they're trying to bring in little pieces of them.
Yeah, they're going to keep dragging pieces. They're going to do Throne one day, and it's going to be awful, and everyone's going to cry because it'll be bad.
Yeah, well, Ahsoka's hunting Thrawn, isn't she? You got that
They've
from
already name dropped him, so he's on the way.
Yeah.
But that's where I am with this stuff. It's like, well, the EU, they could have made this. Like, yeah, but you don't want them to. You do not want them to touch anything you like because they will ruin it. Like, wait for it. That can be preserved for later on if they finally fix things. And then they'd be like, oh, we've not done the EU. We could do that. So, yeah. You don't want them to touch anything you like.
Daniel Monroe says, yes, Drinker in the open bar. Drinker, I have a question for you as an author. What part of the process do you find most rewarding? Outlining, writing, rewriting, or editing? Well, I'll go on record and say I fucking hate editing. I hate going back over what I've already done because I'm never happy with it. So, yeah, I don't like doing that at all. Outlining, that's just the planning stage. I mean, that's nice and all, but I guess my most enjoyable part is just the actual writing process. Getting it down on paper and, doing these scenes that I've been planning for a long time. It's really satisfying to see them actually play out. And sometimes you change it. Sometimes it doesn't work the way you wanted it to. But yeah, that's the most enjoyable part for me. I wish I could just take that and then just have that be the finished product, but it usually has to go through multiple rewrites and all the rest of it. So it is what it is, but yeah, the writing part is the best part for me.
But that's the quality control. You go through the bit that you don't like afterwards to make sure you give your people a good product. Whereas, we'll ship it out. We don't care.
It's got to be done, unfortunately, and that's why I have editors and copy editors and line readers and stuff. Like they all do the various different parts of the editing process on my books, and that's how they make sure it's not complete garbage and doesn't contradict itself. And I've had some great stuff come up from these people, like just pointing out logical errors that I just didn't spot because I was too close to it. And it's what happens. That's why you need people to sense check what you do. But yeah, it's not for me. That's not a fun process. It's just being really logical and really methodical with what you're doing and going over what you've already made. But it has to be done. This is a 4-parter, and it's an epic story from Chuxenhausen. So bear with me while I read all this. So back on Sunday, and I had some fun with a lady, and I've got to say it's nice when it's reliable. May not be new, but I know I'll be satisfied. She can take a hand to the bum like others I've been with, plus a paddle and other things, although I want to believe that Az has a room in his flat filled with impact and dominant toys for some adult fun. That would be legendary to watch. But anyways, to my main point, if there's anyone in Hollywood that can give out reliable movies, it's probably Tom Cruise, thank God. And Cobra Kai 2, they're hash brown legendary. I'm not going to lie, developed quite a bit of respect for Tom Cruise over the past 10 years or so.
Especially the last few days for you, right? Because of that film.
Yeah. I mean, like he's done, the Mission Impossible movies. He's done things like Edge of Tomorrow and Oblivion, like all of those things within the past 10 years, I think. Yeah, I just think he's one of the few guys that you can kind of rely on to produce a decent movie these days, and that's a rare thing, I suppose. Mm-hmm. I wish we had more people like him, I suppose. J.S. Pena says, all hail the mega pints. Yeah. Indeed. He also says, Drinker, you should review or do a live stream on the POTC franchise. I've rewatched them recently and they're more violent than I remember as a kid. POTC, what is that?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh.
Would that be what it is? Never thought them.
I can't remember them. They were Disney, though. They weren't that violent, were they?
Yeah, I don't remember them.
Yeah, you guys definitely don't remember these films then. There's a fucking...
No.
They literally tentacle paw and kill somebody in the third one. Like, remember Davy Jones shoves his face into all of the holes of that guy until his, like, all of his facial features are all just like... Yeah, it's pretty rough. It can get rough.
Oh, okay.
Is it just because there's no blood then? That's why I think it...
Oh, yeah, that's how they get away with it. 'Cause these are often, like, fish people or whatever, so guts and things are all, like, different colors. But, yeah, there's some cool shit in those movies. They're a bit edgy. Dude,
I need to rewatch that trilogy. Like, the other two, they were a bit shitty, but the first three, I think, were pretty entertaining.
they're even a little bit rapey in the first one. I think the rest of them they have a bit of it too. But like, no. And I say this is a good thing because they're fucking pirates. Like they have little references here and there to being like with what they're gonna do with Elizabeth and stuff. And it's just like, wow, it's a Disney movie. They'd never do this anymore.
I haven't watched them in ages, so that's probably one of the the Disney put in things for the adults that the kids miss. That's probably all stuff I missed when I was younger.
Oh yeah, they definitely like. So to give you an example, she like when they cut her hand to bleed her, she's like, "Oh, that's it," and Barbossa says, "Waste not." Like they have plans because remember they can't feel anything when they're the skeleton people. And he mentions he hasn't felt the warmth of a woman's flesh or something. And it's like, hey.
Is there not a bit where he gets Elizabeth's dress and he's like, it's still warm?
Yeah, that back then that was the most you could do. These days, I think if anything, you have to do it the reverse. You have to say, "Oh, the guy's clothes are still warm." Sniff, sniff.
Yeah. It was like that bit in the Thor 4 trailer where it's like so fucking awkward, like where he like being, he's naked in front of like the gods and stuff, and Valkyrie's just sat there, like, "Oh, should we help him? Nah, let's just watch him a bit longer." It's like, oh, come on, man. It's like if this was reversed, you wouldn't allow that. Next one is Ghost in the Craig says, "Cheers, everyone. Thank you, man. And cheers to you, too." Liam Khan says, "Hail Drinker, and for a future video, would you consider watching and reviewing the anime, what that's that? Bakemonogatari. It's the first part of the Monogatari series and would be very interested to hear the opinion of a non-weeb. If no worries, just keep up the good work." I mean, I've never heard of it. I don't know a single thing about it, so I don't know what I can tell you at this point.
Someone mentioned, by the way, just quickly, they do hang a little boy in the third film. I assume you guys remember that. That's the opening.
They do, yeah. A whole bunch of people get hanged at the same time, don't they?
Yeah, and the scene, the shock is that there's a little kid up there too, and he's getting hanged because he's a pirate, I think, is their logic. But,
I like that one. Tom Cruise must hurt from carrying Hollywood. So, Gary told me, and this was something we didn't see over here in the UK, but if you were in the States, you watched Top Gun Maverick. There was a little almost infomercial from Tom Cruise where he's like, "Thank you for coming back to the cinema. We really appreciate you coming to see this movie. It's great that people are back to doing what we appreciate." I just thought, damn, I don't know. It just feels like such an old-fashioned thing to do, to thank your audience for watching your movie. I don't know how many other companies would bother to do that.
The movie felt like that. The movie felt like they wanted to make an entertaining movie, and that was it. It didn't feel like, oh no, well we've got to make this person strong and this person, and we had a checklist to do this. None of that happened. It was just a load of people in planes that they wanted to entertain people with, and that shouldn't be unusual. It's weird that it is.
But then compare it to Disney, where it's like, "Oh, you dislike this show and this character that we've written? You fucking racists! I hope you're pleased with yourselves. You're gonna burn in hell for this." That's the attitude. It's like, compare. It's like night and day.
After Squid Game, I went off and watched more sort of Korean TV series, and they're not all good. A lot of them are average, but even on the average ones, you come away feeling that they at least tried to entertain you. There's a sort of a clean sensation to them. It's not them trying to impose themselves on the piece. They just wanted to tell a story. And so even the average ones come across way better than anything with Disney. I never went to see The Batman. Why? Because I heard about the line first in it. And the thing is, even people are like, well, it's only one line out of an entire thing. I will be waiting for that. And the moment it happens, it'll take me out of the movie. And so I'm fed up with it. I just don't want that. And so now I've reached a point where you want to put it in, fine. I don't care about your movie instantly.
No, I agree. Rob the Builder, there's 3 messages from him. So, hello, gents, wet your whistles, because just like MauLer, this is going to be long. Kenobi is hot garbage. They've even ruined Darth Vader. He's lashing out at random civilians like he's Kylo Ren on emo night. He's saying cheesy, cliched lines. His voice is all right. Sounds like a young James Earl Jones, but it's also boring and cheesy. Stranger Things is better. has some problems, but a step up from that god awful season 3.
That's what I hear.
I've only seen one episode of season 4 so far, but it's definitely darker, and it's got less of the comedy elements that they had in season 3. So thank fuck for that. I mean, hopefully it continues on this track. I've long been of the opinion that Stranger Things should have just been one season. That's really all they needed. It's all just rehashing the same story, but yeah, season 3 was the fucking low point for me, man. It was just like a goofy comedy at that point.
I don't know why the Russians are in it, and even after thought, I'm like, I don't know why this storyline exists, and I don't know whether it's just me, but I want to find out. I want to find out more about the Upside Down, and you just never do. Just every series feels like a supernatural episode, which has been stretched into an entire series. Like, here's a monster, now we're going to fight him, and now it's over. It's like, can we not find out more about why any of this is happening?
Yeah, the Upside Down is a fascinating world, but it's like you say, you don't really get to see much of it. You just see things from it come into our world, and it's like when the Mind Flayer came in, and it's just this big lumbering monster that's chasing people around. That's not scary. It's just goofy. There's even a point where they're singing a song to overcome it in the finale. It's like that's not interesting. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought this series was like the second best one, but I would have preferred it to have just been like in the Upside Down and they're discovering this other world. Like, move on the greater plot rather than just here's another enemy.
Yeah, it's like we're just going to give you the same basic premise, a new enemy, but it's like bigger now. That's it. Like that doesn't make it scarier. It's just physically larger. But here's the ultimate question, and this is like true, meaningful stuff. So this is from Unhinged, who says, question for the entire panel: what is your method for eating a Pop-Tart? I suppose.
Bottom.
I didn't realize there was there a complication with methods for those?
Yeah, it's not like an Oreo.
Is chat, help us out here? Is there multiple methods for like heating it up? I thought you just put it in a toaster and then
preparing them, I guess. Yeah, because I thought you just put them in a toaster.
Same here. I eat it like an inverse 56k modem. I'd just go from one corner along and go down.
I mean, it's been a long time since I've had a Pop-Tart, to be fair.
I used to have a lot as a kid.
It's usually a leftover pizza or something I have for breakfast, so I don't know. Yeah, there we go. This absolute Chad. Frozen Pop-Tarts are the best.
What? I didn't even know anyone had froze one before. Like, they're mostly sugar. They'll preserve themselves.
What's this one? You have to break off the crust, eat the soft middle, and then finish up with the crusts. I don't know. There's a lot of thought being put into Pop-Tarts here. I never would have.
Sounds incredibly messy.
Someone just put with butter. Yeah, okay. Next one is Kevin O'Neill, who says, Drinker, have you heard? At the age of 49, Cameron Diaz has announced that she's fed up with being sexualized. Funny how this sense of empowerment only seems to surface once the money is made and the wrinkles start coming in. Yeah, I was going to say it's been a long time since anyone's sexualized Cameron Diaz. I haven't even thought of her in like at least 10 years. What has she even done?
I was like waiting for chat to tell me because I was like, I have no idea.
It's like the last thing I remember seeing her in was like Charlie's Angels 2, and that was like 15 years ago at least.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I was like, why? Yeah, nobody's sexualizing you, Cameron. Don't worry about it.
There was a thing recently, because it happens all the time, and I think 5 days ago, British actors signed letter for more women over 45 to appear on screen. They're like, everyone wants attractive women in movies, and I think it's time that we showed more like middle-aged Y mums in them and stuff. It's like all the actors that signed them just happen to all be over 45. You know, now they're suddenly protesting. Actually, I want more jobs. Like, purely self-interest, and they'll say whatever story they think will put them in the position that they need to be hired, is all it is. But it's been going on for years. They've been trying that.
Yeah. It's like, well, people want what they want, ultimately. Kartik Ear says, what's your predictions for The Boys Season 3? I think it's woke as fuck.
More of
Bad. It'll be worse than season 2, probably. This is the thing. If someone was just like, whoa, why? Why do you think that? Why can't it just be good? And it's like, I don't know, man. 9 out of 10 times it seems to be that way. 9 out of 10 times I'm surprised. So we're just trying to get ahead of the game at this point. It's like, why would you even think it's going to be normal? It's like, we don't even get normal stuff now. We get some things that are really good, and then most stuff is really terrible. I'll watch The Boys Season 3. Are you guys going to do it?
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'm hoping it'll be good, but it won't.
I mean, I'm mostly watching it for Butcher and Homelander, to be fair. The only 2 characters I care about.
I still feel like they were ruined in season 2 as well, but that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, they definitely fucked Homelander. He's done.
I have an issue where when I start a series, I'll watch it to the end no matter how bad it gets. Like, I still watch all the Star Treks, still watch Doctor Who. They're awful. I don't make videos on them, but I watch
God,
them
are you
all
actually
for
watching
completion.
Discovery and Picard?
I have seen, yeah.
You poor man.
Yeah, I still watch Charmed. Why do I watch Charmed? Because I watched the original series and liked them, and then they made the remake, and anything that does by the directors and showrunners, that show has swung back and forth so much, it's absolutely insane. But once I start something, I'm there to the bitter end.
I was gonna say, good luck with that. Star Trek's got like 5 shows coming out, isn't it? You got the animated ones. What about that Stranger Worlds one or whatever it's called?
Oh, Strange New Worlds.
Mm-hmm. That's weird. They're trying to do Next Generation, but they can't, and they don't know how. But they are giving it a go. It's not good. It's not good at all. Better than Discovery, ish.
Yeah, I mean that's not too hard. I just I reached that point with Star Trek where I just decided I'm done. I don't want to watch season 2 of Picard. I don't want to watch season 3. Never cared about Discovery. And I don't care about Strange New Worlds. It's like I just don't want to do that to myself anymore. And yeah, like I've got to respect your dedication to completing it. I just can't do it. I just don't want to.
I mean, a lot of the time I will do. It's like on a side monitor when I'm doing something else. But yeah, I go through all at 2 times speed as well.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Here's a question for all of us. So it's from Charles Hurst, who says, "Hail, gents. Hope you're having a good time." Would you ever consider doing a character comparison between Jack Reacher and Rey Skywalker? The idea would be explaining why one of these powerful, complete characters works and the other one doesn't. So, yeah, that's an interesting question because you essentially got 2 characters that are on the surface, like they're both very good at what they do, and they both are able to take on pretty much any threat that comes at them. I think for me, if I was to compare them, I would say Reacher's got a justifiable reason for why he's as good as he is. Like he is a military veteran. He's basically he worked with Army CID, so he's like an elite kind of criminal investigation guy for the U.S. military, who would investigate like anyone in the special forces who committed a crime of some kind. So that kind of explains why he's got like such skills that he has. Rey's just amazing. I mean, she's just amazing at everything. There's no reason for it. She just is. So that would be my point of comparison initially.
Yeah, and I don't even really mind because if you go to sort of the Orville and stuff, the security officer in that is a woman, and she's mega powerful and everything else, but she's an alien species who grew up with intense gravity, and so when she's not on that planet, she's super strong. Just give me a believable reason that fits in the universe, and I'm fine with it. The problem comes when you know they're doing it for ideological reasons and they're making something perfect, not for the story, not because it enhances it or entertaining in any way, but because they think this person should be amazing.
Yeah. And I think at least with Reacher as well, like, because you've got an actor portraying him who's like got that huge physicality to him. It's like, okay, I can believe that this guy can beat people up. You know, he can take on like 3 guys simultaneously because he's enormous and he's strong and he's tough. And he's got the training to back it up. So all of those things combined makes for a character that at least is somewhat believable. Again, with Rey, you've just got nothing like that. GS Pena says, have you seen Love, Death and Robots? I recommend it.
Season 3 is great. I've not seen the first 2, but the first episode wasn't a fan. If anyone watches it, it's obvious. It's the ideological one they used to appease Netflix, but the rest of them, except maybe one of them, were really good. Just brutal, glory, horror, incredible animation. Some people talk about the Uncanny Valley and stuff, but I thought the animation was great. Just little short stories, start of the action, end of the action, no messing about. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I heard a lot of recommendations for it.
Yeah, likewise. Ardent Party says, any advice for me to beta read for an author pal? I don't know. Like, if you're going to be a beta reader for them, yeah, be honest with them, I guess. Like, that's what they need, ultimately, if you're going to be better. Pickle Rickle says, Bank Holiday stream, I can get hammered, God love the Queen. Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's the Jubilee today, isn't it? Yay.
Yay.
Yeah, that was the whole plan for like having an all Brit stream because we're celebrating the Britishness. It's in us right now.
Yay!
All hail
today.
All hail the Queen.
Yeah, she's my queen.
I don't want it.
I don't want it. Next one is Alex Perez, who says the fact people on Twitter are eating up and praising Kenobi is mind-boggling. Also, Top Gun Maverick is diverse casting done right. Star Wars has got its own unique brand of consumers, I suppose. Marvel's like that as well. Like, you criticize anything made by Marvel, there's a certain proportion of people that would just fucking hate you for it. But yeah, with Top Gun Maverick, yeah, it was pretty diverse casting, I suppose. Like, there was nothing really I could say about it. Nobody struck me as like being just an ideological choice. It was just fine characters, I suppose. George Watkins says, evening drinker, will you be doing a book tour and meeting fans signing books for Dark Harvest? It would be great to meet you. Cheers from George. Well, I might be doing a few conventions out in Florida, so watch this space. I'll let you know.
Hey.
A Sour Cream Citizen says, as a Texan, I am outside from sun up till sundown year round. I'm darker than my Hispanic wife and I'm Scottish. Nice one. We don't have that problem in the UK because it's never that sunny. Scottski02 says, do you think Depp would do Pirate 6 if the villain was a thinly veiled caricature of Amber Turd? Now, there you go. I'd love to
never
see
do it, but it'd be funny.
Yeah. He wouldn't have the guts.
Little Jimmy says, yes, MauLer, Dark Souls 2's biggest fan. Just kidding. Cheers, guys.
That's fine, it's fine. DS, what? Just say DS2, and I can assume you're saying either Dark Souls 2 or Doctor Strange 2. I hate them both. It'll be great.
That is true, yeah. Maverick Christian says, isn't it weird how the Depp Heard thing got political? It's not as if the badness of men abusing women or women lying about abuse is a political topic, and both Depp and Heard are liberals. Yeah, I mean, well, I don't imagine either of them is a perfect person, but I feel like justice was done with this ruling.
Yeah, and everything high profile gets politicized because everyone wants to use anything that everyone's eyes is on to help their group out with whatever they're doing at the time. So,
true.
It just happens. They've done it with Star Wars.
Yeah. Stephen Bobo says, Critical Drinker, what's your opinion about Square Enix selling off their Western development division? Probably it's a good thing because apparently they were terrible for oversight and they would just like micromanage everything. So yeah, it's better that the Western studios are freed from them.
Cody, though. They've sold off those studios and now they're setting up new ones to replace them. So I'm not. It seems more like they're trying to centralize it in their part of the world rather than care about the IPs or anything else.
Well, I don't think they would ever care about the IPs. It's about making money ultimately. But yeah, I'd be interested to see what they do with Tomb Raider without Square Enix overseeing it. Cody Griffin says, "Gentlemen, do you ever fear that you may judge too quickly? Like personally, although I find Reva in Kenobi incredibly annoying, I can't fully commit and call the show horrid or a bait and switch. It's not over yet. Utmost love and respect." So that is a good, valid question. It's not very often that a show will completely about face when you're halfway through it. I think we could probably all agree on that. Once you've got a sense of what they're doing with the character, it's not often that they surprise you.
Yeah, and I'd judge everything on an episode. If an episode was good, I'd say the episode is good. And then at the end, you can judge the series. But as we go on, I'm going to judge episode 1 as I see it, episode 2 as I see it. And so I don't feel like I need to wait to because I think things show where they're going to go, and the writers aren't suddenly going to develop talent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give him a chance, jeez. After the 100 chances we've given him.
Yeah, I think as well from past experience, but we've watched Mandalorian, we've watched Boba Fett. We know how these things go, and it's like, it's just following it to a T. Cannon Falderall gave me a thumbs up super sticker, so thanks, man. Todd Zilla says, "Can't wait to hear your thoughts on Kenobi. Hoping MauLer will do a full breakdown review before the year 2048. I mean, there's a chance, I would say.
Like, you'll get your minis, all right, and they'll be edited. You'll get all your visuals, your funny lines, your angry patrons of Discord being upset by everything that happens. It's all coming.
Yeah. Stunner 900 says, "All women Brokeback Mountain when?" That's what I want to know. It's bound to be on Pornhub.
Probably been made.
The most expensive adult film ever made is not Pirates. It's the sequel, Pirates 2, with a budget of $8 million. Okay. So, Pirates 2, the X-rated version, that was done with $8 million budget. That's pretty impressive for a porn movie.
Yeah.
I'll need to give it a watch and review it. Scary Gary says, "Drinker, been following you since the Game of Thrones finale. Thanks for the entertainment, being the voice for us all, and introducing me to channels like MauLer's EFAP. Cheers from St. Louis." Thanks, man. I'm glad I got you onto MauLer's EFAP stuff. Pickle Rickle says, "Johnny's in the tune, balling with Sam Fender. He's taking pics and buying drinks. No jars of Coke, though. Easy to find, though." Nice. The Astro Nerd Boy says, "I mentioned on Twitter that if you watch Kenobi, there'd be a large drink in it for you. Cheers." Thanks, man. And that was for $100, so very much appreciated. And I am watching it and I'm hating it, so I hope you're happy. Easy E says, "How does Johnny Depp still look young? Jars of cocaine and mega pints of alcohol. In all seriousness, the vindication from this trial has him glowing." Yeah, he must be feeling pretty fucking good. Obsidian Mug says, "Hey Drinker, I had a Lagavulin on your recommendation. Great choice. Ardbeg's still my favorite though. Ardbeg's not a bad whiskey, so I'm all right with that." Ransom G says, "I tweeted at you, both Drinker and MauLer, calling episode 3 the most insulting thing to canon I've ever seen, and that's saying something." I mean, yeah, how do you pick? There's so many things that have insulted canon over the years.
Yeah. We're living in a really weird era, honestly. It was funny, right? Because I told you I watched Pirates of the Caribbean recently. The friend I was watching it with, like, I had it on, and I was just like, opening scene for different characters. If you guys remember Jack Sparrow's introduction, where he like takes a step onto the dock as his ship is completely sank, like visually, one of the best ways to summarize exactly what kind of character this is. He's like absolutely chaotic and makes use of whatever the situation is in, and he'll just make it through all this. And I was just thinking about how much is conveyed through that visual. It's not even dialogue, and I'm just like, we don't do this shit anymore. Like, none of this happens. It's been so long.
It's just trusting your audience to understand what they're seeing on screen. Who would have thought? Ian So Forth says, "I knew there had to be someone other than me that drank Schihalian." Yeah. Where is it? There you go. I've already drained that, but it was pretty good fucking beer, actually. Not gonna lie. John McTernan says, "Use the feet, Vader. Walk around the fire in a galaxy far, far away." That's it.
Everybody keeps saying, like, why didn't Vader walk around it? Why didn't you just lift Kenobi over the fire? You just did it.
There's a million things you could have done. Yeah, it's bonkers, man. I meant to say, for Ian So Forth, you give me 50 pounds as well. So thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Herlihay says, Top Gun will be breaking my personal record of rewatching a movie in a cinema. Nice. I mean, in IMAX, it's fucking great. Like, it's a beautiful looking movie. IP Hampy says, Mr. H was almost on. Damn, big fan of his. He has awful luck making it on your stream. I'd love another Drinker and MauLer Mr. H Ripper stream. I believe Rakita said Amber can't file bankruptcy on this. Really?
How could they stop him?
Do they know her assets before the trial started or something?
Did her and Johnny get married? I really don't know my law on this.
Yeah, and then they divorced, and then I think she was going to get 7 million out of it, which she pledged to charity, but has given 1 million or something like that.
Yeah, because I was going to say, would it be provable with what she should have gotten in the divorce with him or something? I don't know. I don't know how much she would have gotten for a role at Aquaman. Like, was it enough to pay this off? I don't know.
It's not like she's done anything outside of that. Like, that was a kind of a bit part. So, yeah. I don't think she's going to get many more roles after this, put it that way.
Yeah, no, I don't think... No, you're right.
I mean, and to be honest, like, I don't advocate normally for people getting cancelled and stuff, but it feels like it's kind of richly deserved in this case. Like, I don't really think she deserves to get hired for more movies. Aside from the fact that she's not a particularly good actress, like, yeah, she's demonstrated really shitty behavior, and it's like, you should get punished for that. Like, if she was a man, she would have, like, had her career terminated already. So, you know, you shouldn't get special protection or anything. But yeah, Mr. H, unfortunately, yeah, he got sunstroke today apparently. So yeah, he has had bad luck with my streams. PBX said, I think we have to lower our expectations to Disney Junior levels going forward. I mean, I don't think you're wrong. Like, it's great when shows treat their audience like absolute idiots, you know?
No, I love it.
Harley says that trope of you didn't tell me her name right needs to die in 2022. Yeah, that is like the dumbest possible way to move things forward. It's like, it just kills any kind of respect you would have for a character, isn't it? When they blur out the real name or whatever, they shouldn't know it.
Oh, it's like cheating as a writer. A lot of it is where you do stuff like that. It's just like, what the fuck? You don't get to make the drama happen like that. You got to work harder than that.
Yeah. Listen, I know that we're kind of running short of time for Disparu. I know that you've got another stream that you have to go on pretty shortly. So,
yes,
we should probably let you go, sir. But yeah, man, thank you for coming on tonight. I appreciate it.
Oh no, it's been good to talk to people that also like Kenobi. Not like Kenobi. What I was going to say, I was on another stream, and there's someone like, I actually quite like it. I think this is good. I'm like, please, no, I can't. Being, I get loads of comments going, I don't know how people can't like this series. And the only thing I want to do is rip it apart every time, and I can't wait to see how awful it gets as it goes on, because I do think it's only going to go downhill, and I want to see how on earth they can make Kenobi amazing again, because he's got to beat Darth Vader, and in 3 episodes he's got to go from a complete cowardly, little pathetic waste of space to someone that can beat Vader in 3 hours. It's gonna be great.
That is some task. Yeah, I can't see them doing it in this show. I think Reva's going to sort everything. She's going to beat everyone and save the day, guaranteed.
If she saves him from Vader, that'll be the icing on the cake.
But yeah, man, thank you for coming in tonight. For everyone who's watching, if you're not subscribed to Disparu, he has done some great breakdowns on the Rings of Power, on Kenobi, on just basically a lot of the bullshit that goes around companies like Disney and Amazon and stuff. And yeah, I heartily recommend that you give him a follow because I watch his stuff quite regularly, and he's really good.
Ah, cheers, dude. Yeah, Disparu on YouTube and Twitch, and
It's been fun.
Yeah,
it certainly has. I if anyone asks me why don't I talk about good stuff, it's like Love, Death and Robots. I tweeted that I love that. I'm not going to make a video on it. I made one positive video and it died and nobody wants to see it. So I like ripping stuff apart. That's what my videos are. That's what I do. If I think a show's going to be good, I'm probably not going to review it. So you can generally tell which way I think the wind's blowing before I've even started a video. But yeah, great to be on. Thanks for having me. And yeah, can't wait for the rest of Kenobi.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll see
yeah. We'll reconvene at the end of the season, see what we think.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be fun. Yeah, I'll see it. Bye.
All right, thanks, man. All right, cool. We'll maybe go for another 5 or 10 minutes and then finish up. How does that sound?
Beautiful.
Lovely stuff. Okay. Casey Love gave me $1. Thanks, man. Circular Sevens says, I saw the movie Men and it was traumatizing. There's pregnant men in it. And Usher asked if it was good after, and all I could say was no. It's not even with a hate watch or a spite view. Godspeed, gentlemen. The trailers made it look good as well. This is disappointing stuff. Have you seen them more?
Trailer for
Men.
So
It's like a horror movie.
this is the weird thing. I guess I don't know how much you know about this, but like Alex Garland is in a weird space right now because isn't he responsible for the script for Dread?
I think so.
A lot of people really like him because he made Ex Machina as well, and it's like, oh man, this is because he's got the screenplay for Dread. So he did that Ex Machina, but then he did Annihilation, and some people like that movie. I thought it was terrible. Then he made Devs. I don't think anybody saw it except me and Rags. It was terrible. And then he made some other stuff. But anyway, I've always been very like with him at this point. And then Men, I saw the trailer and I was like, okay, is the premise just a woman enters a town and the town is populated by the one guy, but he's all these different people? I was like, that's interesting, I guess. Like that could be fun. Several people I know and trust have told me it is fucking garbage. Like the movie makes a lot of the kind of points that we're not going to enjoy. Let's just put it that way.
Right. Fucking typical. Oh well. Ryan, 50 years ago, says, Drinker and MauLer, I listen to you both at work and it brings joy into my mundane routine.
Oh,
Well, that's an achievement on our part then if we can make people give them a bit of entertainment.
yeah, man.
Ransom G says, they emasculate these characters for one reason, Drinker. They're straight white men. I don't care what feathers I ruffle saying that. And neither should you, because I think you're probably right on the money there. Cyborg Ninja says, why does Disney think it's a good idea to degrade their established characters to push their below mediocre ones? Anyway, here's $4 for you and a fan from SA when you convert it, Drinker. Thank you, my friend. Very much appreciated. Wolfspain says, fun fact, in the Star Wars canon, aka Legends, Jedi and Sith have passive force shields that prevent subtle uses of the Force. Star Wars, the original series trailers show this. Okay, cool.
You know, like I said, it's just always felt to me like something that they don't typically take advantage of, lifting each other up with the Force. And it's like, you know what? Let's just assume you can't do it to a Force user. That's just how it works because they have an automatic shield. But then they just did it, and I was like, oh, okay then. Never mind.
Majestic Media says, why in episode 3 did they let Obi-Wan get away? They show the fire area, which is like 20 meters at most. That is the question.
That's 2 times in the same episode. There's this thing stopping anybody from getting past, but there's 2 sides to this thing that could easily be walked past.
I know.
We can't see it. Can't see it.
It's like in Hot Shots 2, where like they have to, like they're just walking through the forest to like get to the evac zone, and there's like a picket fence in their way, like or just a gate. Sorry, it's like they could go around it, but they have to like get through it. It's the most daft thing.
Jay said is indistinguishable from parody. Like, this is how you would do it, because you want to keep it like at least vaguely coherent, but then also have this really funny shit happen. Like I said, I was laughing my ass off when Kenobi just sort of waddles away from Vader. I was like, wow, there he goes. Next scene, I guess. Like,
Yeah. It's like the fallen ship in Prometheus. It's like, just turn left. If you're right.
Yep.
All right, next one is Fiction Theorizer. Give me $10. Thanks, man. Dark Elements says, Vader in A New Hope. The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the apprentice. Now I am the master. Vader in Episode 3 of Kenobi. I'm about to end this man's whole career.
Yeah.
Bobby Wan Kenobi says, so I just saw the 3 episodes. I am reconsidering my username. Also, how about those magical teleporting tunnels? Yeah, they were great.
Incredible. It's the world of Star Wars, magic tunnels. They can do anything.
Yeah, it's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah.
Colin Stevens says, the Force identifies as a complete failure. Indeed.
Yep.
Enough Dwarves to Kill a Bear says, did anyone mention they'd already killed off the Grand Inquisitor in Rebels? Definite fell into an exploding reactor, dead.
What? It doesn't matter. Like, it just doesn't matter anymore. I want them to literally just embrace the meme, and you have, like, at the end of the Boba Fett show, Obi-Wan shows up to save him, and it's like, wait, but, and it's like Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan. It's like, you're dead, but also really old. He's like, no, I'm not. Somehow I returned.
And then Liam Neeson's just stood behind him.
Literally, fucking Jake Lloyd's Anakin turns up. He's like, I'll help you guys. Why not? Fuck it.
Just do it. Sean Wickett says, wait till they want to replace Vader. Yeah, that'll happen. Yeah. PBX says, strong black female is the real unsung hero, everyone. Christ almighty. Yeah, that's the premise of the show, basically. Shotgun Fringe says, D+ Star Wars is like watching the retarded neighbor kid play with, then break your action figures because they don't understand how they work. That's pretty much it. Dent Masterson says, Kenobi was considered the best duelist that the Jedi Order had ever seen, according to the Revenge of the Sith novel. Yeah, I mean, he beat Anakin, so...
Dude,
get much better than that.
Obi-Wan beat Anakin at his best. He beat General Grievous. He helped beat Count Dooku. He defeated Darth Maul, who's like supposed to be one of the best swordsmen as well. Like, you can't have all that, and then he's like, even if you take like the greatest chess player and make them stop playing chess for 10 years, I'm pretty sure they're gonna smash most people when they come back to it. Because doing it for like 30 years of their whole life, 10 years stop. Why would he stop? God, I hate this show.
You would train. You would keep yourself ready because you're there to protect people. Fuck this show. Wolf's Pain says, I'll repeat this again. Reva, you abandoned us. Obi-Wan, I'm sorry. I was busy killing Grievous, getting shot and falling down a cliff in the Star World.
Dude, oh God, it's that conversation between those two. Oof, my ears will be wide open. What are you going to tell me? What are you going to say?
What is he going to have to apologize for?
Yep. Oh, he's saying sorry for sure.
Oh, yeah. PBX says, when danger reared its ugly head, Kenobi turned his tail and fled. Indeed.
3 times.
Disneyfied Sunquist says, hey mates, Drinker and MauLer, opinions on how they can salvage the Kenobi show at this point, if possible. Also, MauLer is my spirit animal. You are a spirit animal. What could you do to salvage this show?
Oh God, I don't know if we're in the territory of like that is a clone, it's not actually Kenobi sort of stuff, because maybe we can draw it back even with all of that. I don't know. I really hate the whole locked off from the Force, terrible swordsman now because of you. I want that gone, and I don't know how we retcon that without just making it so that what we saw in the first 3 episodes is all bullshit. It's all a big nightmare. Like, we could do it that way, and then in 3 episodes try and make an actual story. But like, that's where I'm at almost. That's how bad I think this is. If it was just episode 1, I think we could still make the season work. But
at this point, if you've bungled the encounter between Anakin and Obi-Wan, you've lost the best aspect of the show.
If because we had the whole season, 6 episodes at 40 minutes, I'd be like, all right, we're having Anakin, Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan, Anakin, and maybe a third new character or something at most. I don't want to spend too much time on anyone else when we've got that little time for these guys. And yeah, totally have a Clone Wars episode. How the fuck haven't you done that? God, give us some adventures with those two. Juxtapose it with how they feel about each other now. It's the simplest version of storytelling ever. It works really well. Do it. It's reliable.
Why won't you do it? What is wrong with you?
You can think of that. You could even throw a bunch of prequel references. Oh, look, a droid. We like droids. We could even have Jar Jar fucking Binks show up. Why not?
Yeah, just have fun with it. Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Well, I mean, on that extremely positive note, I don't know. I'm all tapped out tonight with hating on Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just done. I'm tired. I want to go to bed.
Yeah.
I think I think we'll probably end it there for super chats because there's loads to get through and there's no way I'm going to get to the end of them tonight. But you guys, you audience, you guys have been awesome. We've had 11,000 people watching us live tonight, which has been a record, I would say. I don't think we'd gotten above 10,000 live viewers before. So hey, we've done it, MauLer.
Pretty neat. Yeah.
And maybe that shows the depth of hatred for this show that, like, basically all these people tuned in to see us rant about Kenobi.
Well, yeah, I mean, next Open Bar will probably be about the next 2 episodes of Kenobi as well.
And then it'll be done, and then we can put this behind us, this horrifying nightmare.
Yeah, right in time for Andor or Thor or whatever the fuck.
The thing is, Andor I don't care about because I never had any attachment to him as a character. Like Obi-Wan, yeah, I do care about because he's a really good character.
Dude, I'll end up eating these words, but Andor could be good for all we know.
It could be amazing. It could be the best show ever made.
It's been in production longer than any other of the shows they've made, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll be good, but you know,
maybe that means it'll be, you know, refined to some degree. Mando season 3 has been announced as well, isn't it? That's on the way.
Oh yeah, that'll be. I can't wait.
Pumping them out, pumping. Ahsoka's on the way. Star Wars and Marvel. You can't sit down for 5 seconds without them going like, "Hey, you want to watch Agatha Harkness? Come on."
Yeah. You want a Babu Frick show?
Oh yeah,
we can do that for you. It's more stuff. It's just more content for the sludge pipe. It's
delicious sludge.
You want more sludge force fed into your mouth? Well, we've got it all.
We
Disney
don't care
Plus.
if you don't. Oh yeah, She-Hulk's on the way.
Anyway, everyone, like, thank you for this. It's been great seeing you all tonight, virtually anyway. And yeah, thank you to my mods as always. You guys do an awesome job. And I'll probably catch up with you guys on Sunday where I'll do a super chat catch up. And hey, look, the critical doggo's moved a little bit. Like, there you go. Hey, look, we're doing a stream. We're gonna finish up now. Yeah, I can tell
what do
you.
you think about Kenobi?
Tell us. She looks about as excited as I feel about the next 3 episodes.
Yep.
Anyway, thank you everyone, and that's all we've got for this evening. So we're gonna go away now.
Bye-bye.